So what's going on, guys? How's it going? Oh, I got the camera shifted here. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Hey, how's it going? TGIF. What? Wait, it's not Friday yet, but I did the Wednesday broadcast, didn't I? Oh no, that's right. I did the truncated edition. Yeah. So I'm doing the freelance stuff, right? Like I told you about. I got the little freelance animation job, which kind of threw a wrench in my usual streaming times. So I managed to squeeze in an hour over my lunch break, but I told you if I was up to it, I would try and come back, and here I am. So seems like old times, doesn't it? Doing the nighttime broadcast. Oh, look at it, 8 o'clock too. That's like the same time I was doing back in the day, wasn't it? When I was back in LA. So yeah, not sure how long I'll go tonight, but hang with you guys as long as I can. Do a little more work. And yeah, so this is, part 2 of the Wednesday broadcast, and we'll just see if I can bang through a little bit of this stuff. Just to bring you guys up to speed in case you weren't here for the incredibly brief 1-hour session today. Let me show you what is on the menu, the main menu. There's a pun in there somewhere. I'll let that slide. Okay, I'll edit that out. That was stupid. So what I was working on was the ability to show news. And let's see, let me remark this out again so it'll actually pop up. So using Kombu, so that way I can let you guys know if something happens. If I'm doing, yeah, I'm gonna shift this a little bit. Which way do I go? Do I go this way? Oh no, wrong way. How about this way? Nope, I was right the first time. Yeah, I was tweaking the camera and now I don't like where it's positioned. There he goes. Good enough. Nope, nope. I'm gonna be like OCD about this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll stop playing with that. So here we go. So this is like the new feature I got for showing any kind of news updates. So this would be great in case I do like an updated version of the game. And I want to let you guys know about it so you can get the latest and greatest with all the new features and tweaks and blah, blah, blah. Also, I can do news broadcasts in case there's, like, if I'm doing a special or there's new characters or whatever it may be, I can do this. And then if it is an actual update, nice little news gooey. Below the Stone, how's it going, man? Welcome, welcome. Wait. Aren't you supposed to be... Oh, here we go. It's starting already. Look at that. Wait, aren't you supposed to be, like, working and doing stuff? Didn't we have this conversation a couple hours ago? Alright, here we go. Carpet bomb time. Bring it. I love the smell of napalm. Whoa! Jeez. Into the stratosphere with you guys. How's it going, man? Yeah, so it's kind of cool. It's working pretty well. And thanks to Kombu. I can bring that back up again, because I will need that here in just a second. Come back to my news articles. There we go. So yeah, so I can create any kind of news article that I want to, and then share it with you guys. So yeah, what we were seeing here a second ago, which I can refresh by just going away and coming back. So let me go out and come back into the main menu, and it should load up again. There it goes. Alright, so it's popping up great. And then this is getting fed from Kombu, which is right here. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys get a better view of this. So we have the subject line. And then we have like the actual news message, as well as a URL, which it can be used for many purposes, but I'm using it just to simply go fetch my image, right? So this URL is what's driving this, right? So it just points to an image that's on the website. And in this case, it's just a temp, just my logo, you know, just something I have as a placeholder. But obviously, it would, whatever I'm advertising, you know, and then I can use new images every time. So if it's like a new version of the game, I can have like a little collage of showing what the new graphics are or anything. So, and then one thing I'm doing different here is it's kind of cool. You see that you have just this text, but in the message line, I have all this information. So what I'm going to do is kind of use this tool to my advantage and sneak 3 different things of information in this one text message. So, and then just split it with the little pipes here. And then I'm using code to divvy that stuff up. So, let me get my phone out of the way there. So if we come down here, then so here's actually splitting it up, right? And then if it's empty, obviously do nothing, right? But in this case, if it's update, which as we saw a second ago, it is. Where'd it go? Yeah. So if it finds an update, then it's like, okay, cool. And then it'll grab the second item, which will be the version number. And then this will check. Right now I have it hard-coded. This is probably the cleanest way. And when I do updates, I just have to always remember to put the new version here. Otherwise, it's going to break it. But, so yeah, then it looks at whatever it's being told. In this case, I say, hey, I have version 0.6.5, 0.6.5. And then it looks and it says, you know, if it is equal to it, then ignore it. But if it's not, then it's, you know, then it'll actually show the news, but it'll also show it with the update button. That'll pop up now, which that's where I left. That's where I ran out of time during my lunch break, my little lunch break hour edition. So I want to go ahead and finish that up. So let me bring him back up. News group. Turn him back on. There he goes. And that's that button right there. Let's see. And I don't think I have it in code yet. Let's check that. Sneak down to the bottom. News sprite. I'll say public game object news update. button. Yeah, that should do it. All right. And here, okay. So, and then let's attach it. Let's get that wired up. Then we'll turn it off. Oh, it helps when you actually save your script. There you go. There's the best advice I have for the day. When you're working on a script and you'd like to implement it, hit Control S because it'll save it. Idiot. Okay. So, let's see. I don't have it named yet, so I'll say update button. All right. And let's go back down to the bottom. And let's get that plugged in, like so. Okay, now I can go ahead and just turn him off. So he will only appear when I want him to. And we'll say, if this case, it is show update button. So we'll say news update button, set active to true, like so. There. And we'll turn it back off and fire this back up. And the button should actually turn on this time because we're doing a update message. And there it goes. There it is. And I need to set that up now too. So let's wire up the button. All right. Let's turn him back on so I can actually do something with him. All right. Box collider. Attach. Play tween script. This is all my usual stuff. Tween scale. Deactivate him. Go 0.8. And we're just giving the button a little bounce. And it'll go for 0.15 seconds. And we need to reset the button. Let's see. Reset the beginning. That's good. All right, and then tell it to actually do something now. So let's come back in here. Public void. What do I want to call this? Call it update game request. That makes sense. Alright, and then we'll have to do a couple versions to handle all the different, so for iOS, Android. Oh, oops. I just created a function while I had the function right below it. Alright, so I guess I did add that at lunch. Oops. Alright, good. So now let's go ahead and do if Unity Android. Is that correct? Yeah. DR. If Android. And if. Alright, and then I guess just go to the page. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the cleanest way is just to open up the page for it. So let me dig that up. It's in beta right now, so I think if I just go ahead and that link won't actually change once it comes out of beta. So here's the beta version of the game, and I don't think there's any reason why I can't just grab this stuff. I can scrape off the English, I think, and just make the ID like that, and that should still bring it up. Yep. Alright, so we won't force the English, but we will leave the details in there. Alright. And, oh crap, right now we're actually in PC mode, so I'm not going to be able to test that for a moment until I switch it back. Who are you? Thurman, oh, I can't even do that one, man. What is it? Oh, the one is a man. Okay, it took me a second to read there. How's it going, man? Welcome. My name is Dustin. My company is Scary Robot. I'm working on a mobile game, which I will give you a quick rundown. because I'm doing a nighttime view, a nighttime streaming for the first time in a while. So a few of you guys might be coming around for the first time. The game is called Volley Village. It's going to be a game for free-to-play game for iOS and Android, and then desktop later on, if I can figure out how to monetize it correctly. All right, that's what I was working on, the test stuff there. So imagine Angry Birds and Battleship mixed together, right? So you drag your finger back, kind of like Angry Birds, right? Here's your distance, there's your aiming, right? And fire. So what you're doing is you're aiming for the bouncing buildings, because the bouncing buildings are powering the force field of your opponent. So if you knock all the buildings down, force field goes down, you take out the catapult, and it's game over, right? Oh, these power-ups pop up randomly, and whoever shoots it first scores it. Let's see if I can get it. There it goes. So the green arrow means that now my villagers are going twice as fast. So now I'm actually firing a lot faster, right? So more destruction. You can see the AI actually, he sent out a couple of the villagers to repair buildings. You can do that, but you always have to keep in mind when you do that, you have fewer villagers left on the catapult, right? So now his reload time is taking twice as long as me. So I'm taking advantage of that. I'll get another one of these. Also, you see these little items on the side here, like the sheep, the corn, and the hay. Where that comes into play is when you play an online match. You play for coins, right? And the more stuff you destroy, the more coins you win. So I added that, so even if you're winning, you're not going to go after the catapult right away. You're going to try and knock down all these other items to earn more coins. Because if you just destroy the buildings, then you only break even. So if you wager like 100 coins, and you only take out the buildings, then you're only going to win 100 coins, right? So in order to make some better progress, oh, here you go, Fog Bank. Oh, and I missed. In order to make better progress, you have to try and knock out all the secondary items as well. Speechless? In a good way, I hope. You can also hit these guys. This is kind of fun. If you want to be a jerk, you can like hit these guys and, when they start working, you can knock them. So you see they're starting to make some progress, but if I hit it, I can just reset their work, you know. And then each character has different reactions. Some of them, like the wizard, he just goes right back to work, but then the orc kind of gets scared and ducks and covers for a second. But at some point, you can just come back and finish the game off. Boom, and then it's game over. Island sinks, villagers go into the drink, and the sharks start chasing them. I want to know who you are, too. Can you repeat everything you said? I missed everything. Sorry. Below the Stone, you're being a jerk tonight, aren't you? All right. Yeah, I'm going to pay you back with some serious distraction later on, I promise. So my name is Dustin Adair. The company is Scary Robot, hence the little thing here. So, let's see. You're a funny guy. This is going to be my 6th game. I've released 5 games in the past. And I've been working at this full-time for 8 years, but I'm also an animator. I've been doing animation in Hollywood for 20 years. Although I live in Las Vegas now. I fled to Vegas about 7 years ago to live cheaper. But I still do, is this online? Yes. Well, I have a beta version. So, here you go. I think the links are down below, but give me a second and I'll post them here. Do it on the side. There you go. So, yeah, there's the Android version, iOS version, which is available through TestFlight, and a PC version as well. So you can grab whichever one you want. Yeah, Hawk, how's it going, man? Nighttime stream. This is my way of apologizing for only doing that hour at lunchtime. But, you know, hey, I have a paying animation gig, so that one kind of takes precedence. But I finished for the day, got myself some nice little dinner. Now I'm going to be back here to do a little more streaming. We had a little tournament like a week ago, right? Oh, planning on maximizing microtransactions. Not really. Not really. I'll show you exactly what is all here. So when you play an online match, which I know Below the Stone wants revenge here, so I'll play here in just a second. If you want to challenge me, I am guest_1245. So for those of you that have played before, you can throw up a challenge to me if you want while I'm demoing this. But in the meantime, so yeah, so you can play online matches, either random matches where you can select how much you want to wager of your coins. Well, give him a chance to download the game. Come on, Below the Stone. Come on, man. Give him a chance to at least try it out before he starts doing a challenge. Or you can do challenge a friend. I won't be playing tonight. It's quite late here. No worries. No worries. So if you want, you can challenge a friend, right? So yeah, so you're playing for coins, right? and won't be up too long. No worries. Well, hey, I thank you for coming by in the first place, man. Add a credit card boss, and in order to defeat, the player has to enter the goofy numbers on the like real damage. That's funny. Okay. So yeah, so coins are used for matches. They're also used to unlock certain items. Like here, you have these badges that show up on the main menu, right here. And also when you do an online match, it shows your icon, your badge. And these come about through play. It's twofold. You have to play matches, and you play random matches, and you earn cards which unlock these other ones. You can see the 0 of 4, right? And then once you do that, then you can spend some 2,000 coins, right? And boom, you have that icon. And that one's just kind of like, you know, a pride thing. If you want that to sort of like match your personality, there you go. That's me right there, a distressed woman. And then villagers. You can also upgrade your villagers. And if you see, this is really more of a cosmetic. You know, you see there's a slight change in performance, but it's super minor. It's mainly just about the different graphics. Just here to remind everyone, the dwarf is the best character. Of course, of course. And, you know, tragically, Bimley only has one outfit. I was watching this guy the other day who's making a character with tons of customization. See, now he's smart. You know, he's got his down to a T. You know, I'm just kind of foolish. I just have the one. But, so you can, yeah, the base character, you can have him go across like that, but these characters you can only use once, right? So obviously you'd want to use your best guy here, right? And then kind of work your way back, like so. And then the mascot, you can choose whichever you want. I like the wizard, so I'm gonna make my wizard my mascot. Excuse me. Everything seems incredibly polished. It is beta, I realize, but still, 3 years. Okay, technically I've been developing for 3 years, but in actual development time, there's about 1.5 years. As I was alluding to before, I do animation work. So when I get an animation job that pulls me back, you know, I go do that so I can, you know, afford to pay the bills while I'm working on this game for forever. But yeah, so that's why there's a level of polish, just because I have been tinkering on this thing for what is basically an eternity. And my to-do list, as I was showing earlier at lunch today, is... Oh yeah, check it out. I forgot about this. I have the right here. Done. There. See that? There's the quit button. I forgot I did that before, so check this out. Done. There. So that's another thing off the to-do list. So I'm going to throw him down here in the done section. Right? And then just in case you just try... Oh, I don't need that question mark there. Quit done. Done quit. You can actually quit the game now. Yes, you can. That's predominantly for the PC side, but mainly I left it in just for iOS and Android, so if you want to quit, you can do it that way. But yeah, so here's all the stuff, you know, here, I'll do it proper. There you go. This is all the list of bugs and features that I've been working on all this time, so, you know, there you go. And now I'm down to just this. Once I get this plugged in, and if you guys don't find any more bugs, then this game goes out to the world. So yeah, so technically through 1.5 years or so of work stretched out over the last 3 years. Oh, so for coins, you were asking about monetization, right? 800 lines of bugs. Some of those were features. Hey, Canadian Sean's here to taunt as well. Your name is the same, colors the same as Below the Stone, so you blended in there for a second. But Canadian Sean, welcome, man. Good to see you again. Excuse me. So you can get coins one of two ways. You can do it the way I do it, which is by watching ads, right? Going to offer wall, and then, of course, every hour you can get 25 free coins. That's the way I play, right? That's me. But if you want, you can also, and this is PC version in the editor, so you don't see any values here, but you can, you know, if you want to buy coins, you can buy coins, as well as gems. And gems come into play in 2 areas. Well, one right now. If we come back to customize launchers, you can also choose which launcher you want to use. Excuse me. So by default, you get this, just a catapult launcher, and you can upgrade it to one of these guys. And these guys get unlocked through the use of gems, right? Excuse me, sorry. And then, you know, once you've unlocked it, then you get the bonus of every time you play a random match, you get free bonus coins, right? Excuse me. And I say 2 things because ultimately I'm going to have entirely different island themes, right? At the initial release, I'm only going to have the one island because, quite frankly, it takes me 2 months or more to do a whole new island, right? To do all the art, to do all the animation, the texturing, and to get it all wired in is literally about 2 months. So right now, it's just going to be this one island, but in the future, there will be additional islands, and it'll, right here, it'll be purchased through gems, but then you always have the access to the free coins, although we have to wait 58 minutes to get more coins. The unlock cards, as I was talking about before, when you acquire those when you play random matches. I don't make you do anything to sit there and wait for them to unlock. As soon as you earn a card, it's attributed to you. So it's pretty light in terms of if you want to just play the game like it is, there's no reason why you can't just do it, right? You can play the game endlessly if you never lose, right? And then never spend a dime, If you want to customize it, you can, but the customizations, as I was just showing you, are predominantly cosmetic. It's not really going to change the gameplay. And then, of course, this is added just for test mode for the PC people. Because on iOS and Android, you can buy coins, and it's in test mode, so no one gets charged, right? But on the PC land, I don't have it wired into anything right now. So the only way you can get new coins is either never lose, or just click on this button. And then I got the feedback. Yeah, never lose. There you go. Yeah, Goonies never say die. Never surrender. Excuse me. And then, yeah, just options. And then I finally added the credits since I was getting so much grief over the fact that I never added the credits. There you go. So, there, yep. And it's a pretty short. Character design, Daniel Thomas. I talked about before, the guy is a brilliant artist, and I wish I could have hired him to do all my art, but my budget was limited, so I got him to do the character designs, and I built the models off of his artwork. There's me. That's the game. And then this fine gentleman right here was kind enough to rip my game to shreds and show me just how exposed the game was. So thanks to his digging around, I know that I need to add some obfuscation to the game before it actually goes out the door, which I will be doing. I have not done that yet, but there's a plugin, so I'm going to do that so my code is not as tweakable as it is right now, because right now it just is wide open. And that's news to me, because I don't mess with games in terms of like picking them apart, so I didn't realize how vulnerable the game was. But I will be fixing that. Alright, so let's come back to this, and so I say it should still be popping up with the... There it is. Okay, so that's popping up correctly. It's wide open. How? Oh, out of curiosity. So I'm using Unity, of course. You can see the editor here. And Unity, especially on PC builds, are exceptionally easy to decompile. I knew you could, but I didn't realize how simple it was. I mean, the way it looks like it's almost equivalent of opening a zip file. And the gentleman I mentioned before, he was sending me pictures of my own code. He's kind of going, "This is your code, isn't it?" It's like, crap. Yeah. And I was like, "Well, how vulnerable is it?" He goes, "I can change all your values. I can change all the health. I can change the damage. I can change all that." And it's kind of like, oh, man. So, but there's a plugin. I'll bring that up real quick. I was showing this the other day, but I think it bears repeating. If you're sticking to iOS and Android, I think it's less of an issue because it's much more of a headache to take an APK or IPA and reverse engineer that, break that down, and then try and get it back out there. So it's more about the PC side, but I still think it's something that is smart to address. So this is what I was looking at. I never knew you could decompile. Yeah, I know. I know. I've seen stuff about it before, but I just sort of like took this cavalier attitude to it. I just never thought about it for much. But so this is a $40 plugin. How do you combat that without the plugin? Ooh, that's a good question. You're gonna need a brighter mind than me, because this stuff is way over my head. I don't know. I don't know how you would change your code up manually yourself. I'm not sure how. No, I can't even guess. I can't even offer a guess because that's beyond me. But So, I mean, I don't know if you can see this well on the compressed screen there, but, you know, the text is basically garbage at this point, right? I mean, it's just, it looks like random characters. So, this is not bulletproof. It's not 100% bulletproof, but it makes it a heck of a lot more challenging. As well as the other thing, this other one I was going to look at, which is the anti-cheat. And this is designed to protect values, right? So what he was talking about before, right? When he said that, you know, he could hack the values, this in essence does sort of like an under the hood sum check to make sure that the values are what they should be, right? And doing so hopefully will keep it. And I guess if you keep all the important values external or something, you could write a separate program to cipher and store variables. Yeah, but once again, beyond my skill set. A lot of effort though. Exactly. And then traditionally the way it's supposed to work is the server hosts everything. And if you have a situation where the server does host all the vital stuff, then it becomes a lot more challenging. I'm working off a peer-to-peer concept where the server is just managing the initial matchmaking, and then it just sort of sends the information back and forth. It is just a go-between at that point, you know. So not the ideal method, but this is not my strong suit, man. I mean, I said it before. I'm an artist, right? You know, I can program just enough to do this stuff, but you know, anything beyond that is way beyond my reach. Best anti-cheat is just to do checks to see if values are incorrect. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Which, I mean, still is a challenge because, I mean, if it's a true variable, right? If it's a value that can fluctuate, you know, how do you know it's, you know, been mucked with, right? I mean, like if it's a health thing, right? And every time you take damage, if you bounce that damage back up to 10 again, you know, how do you check and know that, you know, that wasn't just the person getting health again? You know, I don't know. To me, it's sort of like the you know, circular kind of mindset. Until the person finds where you are checking. See, right. Then you have to create code that checks the check, right? So when they find the checking, they knock that out, and then the checker that checks the checker prevents it until the checker that checks the checker is checked out itself. Or in my case, I'm just gonna use this plugin and hope for the best. I said it before. If people want to steal the content, if they want to steal like coins, and if they want to like unlock characters and not pay for them, that's fine. You know, if you're gonna do that, you weren't gonna be a customer anyways. All I want is people not to cheat the game, so that people are playing a legitimate game don't get screwed over. Mind blown. Yeah, no, I know it's a total wake up call for me too, because you know the gentleman, I don't know if he wants me to out him, but the gentleman that was helping me with this, right? He just, you know, when I first released the beta, I threw it out there, and he contacted me, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I try and hack your game?" And I was kind of like, "Do I mind? Dude, please, man, go to town," right? And then he came back the next morning and kind of went, "Yeah, here's your code, right? I can totally change every value I want to." And it's like, oh, crap. Okay, well, better now than after I've already released the game, right? So, you know, that's the plus side. You know, better to have the knowledge before it's unleashed to the full public. But yeah, that was an eye-opening experience to see that it was so easy to exploit. And at least I'll make it a little tougher. Not impossible, but at least I'll make it tougher. That's the goal. So, but yeah, so all my games before have all been single player kind of stuff, right? Which is leaderboard kind of thing. So I've never really worried about this. This is my first multiplayer game, and it's been and that's part of the reason too why it's taken me a year and a half, because I had no clue how complicated multiplayer could be. Yeah, after you install the plugin, trying to get it to do it. I will. Yep, something tells me he's around here somewhere. So once I get it all dialed in, I will definitely be going, hey, you know, wreak havoc again, man, do it. Can't wait for release. There you go. Knife and fork. Nice. Thanks, Hawk. But yeah, so it's been a total education for me. Otherwise, game looks fantastic. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, you know, developing it. And, you know, it's like I'm gun shy to do another multiplayer game because I know what of a challenge it is, right? But I'm gonna go to bed now. Oh, follow, awesome, man! Thank you so much for the follow. Hey, and thanks for dropping by. You know, I appreciate you. Yeah, I know you gotta head off to bed, but yeah, thanks for coming in and checking it out. And actually, my stream is so delayed sometimes, so I'm not registering it. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. You know, it's my first nighttime broadcast in, what's it been, guys? Like over a month and a half. So I'm glad you guys are coming around. You said you went to conventions before with this game. With you, right, Dustin? Yeah. There it is. Yeah, thanks again, man. Thank you so much for the follow. Yes, I do. I've gone to, for the last 3 years, I've taken it to a ton of conventions, but not gaming conventions. I'll go through this again, so in case there's someone else that hadn't heard this, but because I think it's really important. You know, everyone talks about going to PAX, everyone talks about, you know, GDC, you know, I mean, all the big ones, right, to get the game out there. You know, the problem is you could be a total beauty queen, you know, in your local town, you know, but you go into this kind of environment. There it is. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for that follow. Awesome. I hope you can come back around again, too. I normally broadcast Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for about 3 hours. But as long as I get this freelance work, I'm probably going to do this split schedule where I do a brief 1 hour at lunch and then follow up at night if I can. But yeah, I hope you can make it around again. But to finish the thought, so I do comic book conventions and things like that. I'm here in Las Vegas, so for me, there's the Level Up Expo, which is technically a gaming expo, but because there's such a small community, it's mainly just trinkets and art and, you know, toys and that kind of stuff. You know, but, and then that, and I'm fortunate enough to actually have a table at the San Diego Comic-Con as well. And I'm in the same place where I've been for the last 6 years, or 7 years now. Oh my god, it's over 7 years now. This will be 8 for me. So if you're lucky enough to be one of those people that has a San Diego Comic-Con ticket for July, come visit me. I'm in the same place every time. Just walk to aisle 700 and just walk all the way to the end, right? And when you reach the end, I'm right there in the corner. You can't miss me because I got these little arcade cabinets all set up, right? And come say hi, come visit. But I love the comic book conventions because you're not surrounded by 5 million other games. So you stick out more and you have a crowd that's not expecting video games and also people that don't play video games who make great test subjects. And that's what I use the conventions for, is to test out new games I'm developing and to get feedback. So that's my methodology, and it's worked tremendously, and that's why the game here is so polished now, is because that's 3 years worth of people looking at it, playing at it, and shrugging and kind of going, why doesn't it do this? And it's kind of like, oh crap, you're right, okay, I'm writing that down, you know, and add a feature, you know, or just watch people how they play and, you know, fix this, that, and the other. I thought about Comic-Cons and anime game conventions since they're all sort of been merging. Might have to pick your brain a bit more on that. Anytime, man. Yeah. Yeah, we're on Discord, so we can chat it up there if you want, you know, or talk here too, whichever works for you. But depending on the location, you know, the cost can range, of course. I mean, San Diego Comic-Con is not cheap, but it's because I split the table with my wife, and because we actually stay with a friend of my wife's who lives about 45 minutes north of the convention center, that it makes it possible. Because if you're getting a hotel in San Diego for that week for the convention, we're talking easily $1,500, which is not money I want to spend. I want to spend that on marketing for the game, you know. So, you know, San Diego is not cheap, but then you have 145,000 people milling about. So, you know, it's a great place to be, you know, as well as having the ability to say that I demo my game at San Diego Comic-Con, because, you know, even people that don't know anything about comics, you say that and they kind of go, oh, that's the big one, isn't it? You know, so I mean, it's a recognizable thing, you know, and it just adds an air of legitimacy to it, you know. Whether I earned it or not, you can debate that, but I'm there. That's all that matters, you know. Because I say I go to Comic-Con, they go, oh, that's cool, and it's like, wait, you have a table there? You know, so that's always an interesting conversation started there. But smaller ones are great too, you know. Also something to look at too. One of the things I was doing as well was there's one of those game centers here in Las Vegas, and I talked to the guy that runs the place, super nice guy, and he would let me go in there and set up little quasi tournaments, right? And I would get the guys in there to play. The problem with that was that these guys normally were playing Smash Brothers tournaments, so trying to peel them away from the Smash Brothers tournaments to play my game was always a bit of a challenge. But, you know, that was another way that I was able to test the game, right, and get some feedback right there on the spot as well. So, yeah, I mean, unless I get the company big enough that it's worth it, I'm not going to be doing, you know, any kind of packs or anything like that anytime soon. Saw a table for like $700 for electric hookup and everything in PA, and I was thinking about going to. That includes us having to bring our own monitors, banners, computers. Yeah, so I don't have that. That's a situation we have here in Vegas, and oh crud. Okay, they're all downstairs, but I faced that as well. And one of my tricks has been, and if you're demoing games on tablet, then the solution is don't worry about it. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Stanley Max battery. So check this out. There you go. This is my solution. I own 3 of these, and these are portable battery packs. And they're heavy. They're insanely heavy, but if you're carrying around, they're great. And if you're just doing, like, you know, tablets, right? You're gonna be set. One of these things would power like 4 or 5 tablets for the whole day, right? And you just plug it in, boom, you're good to go. Now I get more ambitious and I do these big screens, and I use a what is it? An NVIDIA Shield, right? So it's like a tricked out Android that plugs into the screen. So in my situation, I tend to burn through these pretty fast, you know. But then I have, you know, 3 of them, right? But you see, for 140 bucks, you know, and as you said yourself, 700 bucks for electric hookup. And here in Vegas, depending on the show, it could be anywhere from $200 to like $300 just for the power, right? And then the table, right? So this has always been my workaround. Is I slap these guys in there, you know, power them up, and then boom, I don't have to worry about any electricity. I'm good to go. So, but yeah, if you're just focusing on, like, you could have a row of Android tablets or iPads that you hopefully have in some kind of lock system so they don't, you know, walk away. But if you have one of those, you can get one of these, and that will mean that you're not dealing with. That's a good setup. Tables are pretty useful. Yeah. So that's my recommendation. That's how I've been able to get around not paying all that money for the electricity. You know. So that's my cheat. Gives you a lot of flexibility. Absolutely. Although, to be honest, excuse me, I don't have, no, that's downstairs as well. I was going to show you the case, but the arcade cabinet that I have, I found this guy that builds these custom arcade cabinets, and I think I pay like 150 bucks for it, but it's like one of those bar top kind of cabinets, and it looks great. And especially at San Diego, people see it from like 5 aisles away, and especially the kids. They see this cabinet and the screen in there, and they just go, ooh, and they just instantly run up to it, you know. So the downside with having tablets is that people look at it and they kind of go, you know, they don't know what you're selling. You know, from a distance, they're not going to see that screen, they're not going to see that game. But when you see a, you know, this cabinet, right, with a 20-inch monitor just positioned inside it, and the game is playing on that monitor, right? And, you know, if I'm a jerk, I crank the music up, you know, so you can hear it from a distance, you know, until my neighbors complain. You know, then you're going to have people drifting in and already getting a sense of what they're walking up to, right? Instead of having them walk up to a tablet and then have to learn what it is. You know, signage helps on that. Banners and stuff that advertise what you're talking about helps. But, you know, having that is definitely a big pull. For us here, this Pennsylvania one I was checking out is 600 bucks for a large stand and 100 for electric for 3 days. Ouch, 600? Wow, man, that's honestly, that's crazy costs. We also have the Amazing Comic-Con here in Las Vegas, and that's a 3-day convention, and and the attendance is just blown up. The attendance is like I think it's over 30,000 attendees these days, right? And I think those tables are like 250 bucks. Unless you're talking about a booth. If you're talking about a booth, that's different. I always get the artist tables, right? You know, and that, I find that's the best bang for the buck. You know, I mean, it's an 8-foot table. That's plenty of room for me. you know. And then of course in San Diego, I split the table with my wife. She gets 4 feet, I get 4 feet, you know. And you know, it's more cramped, but it's just, you know, Comic-Con is not cheap, so that's the best way to like save our money. But that's kind of crazy, $600 in Pennsylvania. I mean, I'd be curious to know what the attendance is for that kind of thing. I mean, if it's oh, one of those booth setups. I think it's $400 for a table, or $600 for a booth. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, still $400 for a table to me is pricey, man. Like I said, you know, Amazing Comic-Con is under $300. You know, and that's here in Vegas. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised at that. But yeah, I wouldn't want to set up a, I don't know, a booth. The level of complexity to set up and run a booth goes up exponentially. You know, when you have just the table, you know, front-facing table, and you're just standing behind it, you can just watch the people and monitor it. Versus a booth, you're gonna have so much traffic, and you're gonna be ping-ponging, and then you're gonna start needing people to help you, right? I mean, I know you guys are two-guy teams, so you already have double the advantage that I have. You know, $400 a bit crazy for a table. I was expecting like 200. If it's an 8-foot table, then once again, you could do what I do for, you know, San Diego Comic-Con. You could look at splitting the table with someone else, right? You know, at that point, then, and electricity as well. So even if you did that with the table and electricity, you can split in half. And if it is an 8-foot table, you can still do a fine 4-foot setup, right? And the beauty of that, if you're sharing the table, is you also have other guys to help you man the table when you have the inevitable bathroom break, right? Or food run or anything else like that, you know. So, you know, that could be a good scenario. And I think that's also possible for out-of-state ones. I think I mentioned that the other day too. You know, if you're gonna do an out-of-state convention, if you can split the cost of the hotel as well as the table, right, then you can really drop your costs down significantly, you know, if you're willing to go that route. But just a suggestion. All right, so this guy, so we did, let's see, we wired him up, or we didn't wire him up. All right, I think I added the code for that. Yeah. Having those two people is good, just to bounce off each other for bathroom breaks at the very least. Yeah. Yeah, I've been fortunate because I've been sharing the booth with my wife. And there's also at San Diego Comic-Con, there's a table behind us with a couple of friends that have been there for years as well, and we know them well, so they're willing to sort of like, you know, come over and you know, guard the stuff. And I've also set it up now too, where my displays are pretty theft proof, right? There's not much to steal that isn't tucked away. You know, you would have to like go behind the table and go digging, right? But it's not like where I have any kind of phones or tablets that are sitting out exposed. And then, I mean, the screens are like 20-inch screens. So it's you know, it's not theft proof, but it's theft resistant, you know. So it's also something to keep in mind. You know, if you aren't sure if you're going to have someone to man your booth at all times, it's always nice to have a little peace of mind that, and you come back. And my next setup, I'm going to be using trackballs for controllers. But I'm going to be using this guy, if I can get it in the camera. There you go. Oops, not my drink here. So this is like a $19 Logitech, right? And for what my game is going to be the next go-round, not the Volley Village, but the next game I'm going to be working on, this is going to be a perfect control. So the worst case is that if I was not manning the booth and I went away and came back, right, and then, you know, it's like maybe the ball's missing. That would suck, you know, but I mean, at least that's the worst it's going to be, hopefully, you know. So, you know, it's just, like I said, just things to keep in mind. After years of doing this stuff, it's just, you know, you sort of learn the tricks of the trade to a degree. So, alright. So we want to update game request. So, I'm actually going to do a little work here. See if I can. Try that again. Oh, it did load. Okay. And we're all the way down to the bottom, I think. And we should be... Where is it? No. Let's see. I did save it, right? Title leaderboard. set. Where is it? Alright. I don't want to hunt. Let's see. It should be like... Oh no, we're close to the top, aren't we? Oh, wow. I'm looking on the wrong side, aren't I? Alright, let's start at the top here. Yeah, I know. I really need to split the script up. I know.
Turn the power off.
Log out, update. What the heck? It's got to be on here somewhere. Why am I not seeing it? This is crazy. Load news. And he is a public void, so he should be there. And like right at the top. Load news. Oh, wow. Literally at the top. It was the 4th item. I was just kind of skimming a little too fast there. That's foolish. Alright, and comes up here in just a second. There we go. Now, let me bring this out of full screen. Like so. Let me clear this, and now we're going to hit update, and it says user asking to update to the latest version. Perfect. What I'm hoping for mostly when going to one of these things is being able to pick some people's brains who might have some experience. We were thinking of printing a few thousand business cards that just have our social links on it. Wall of text. Sorry about that. No, that's cool, man. You could do it, but the problem with business cards is that they won't know you from Adam, right? Give me one sec. Let me see. I'm gonna dig out. Sorry, I know it's like very unprofessional to walk away, but I'm gonna show you what I'm thinking of here. Yeah, there you go. So this is what I use. All right, coming back. So I have these postcards printed up, right? So this, and what this is just all my games across here, right? A little blurb about them, right? And then backside I have a little chart, right? A spreadsheet chart kind of thing that shows you which games are available and on what platforms, right? And these things are stupid cheap to print up, right? It's amazing. They do them so fast and so cheap. I'd have to go look at the actual numbers I paid for it, but it's nothing. This, the nice thing about it, with the business card, it's sort of like, what is your game about, right? But a postcard, and even if you're just advertising one game, you can have a collage, you can have, game screens and stuff to represent what the game is, right? And so that way someone can look at it and just kind of like, what was that game? And look at it and kind of, oh yeah, that's it, man. This is one that had the thing in it, right? It had the dwarves, with the interchangeable hair, Yeah, and then just links on here to where the game one might be. Those are crisp. Yeah, is it got print? I haven't, let's see. I don't remember the box is for it. I don't know if I have that handy. I think I used to use got print. I think that was it. Let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, got print. This is my weapon of choice. At least I think these are the guys I'm still using. So, postcards. No. I'm fine with it, dude. I mean, I put in a good hour today, so. But yeah, so these are what are these? They're not 3x5s, so 5x7s. I think these are 5x7s, or is it the 4x6? Maybe that's what they're standard. Okay, so these are 4x6. Paper, you want glossy coated, right? Full color, both sides, right? And then we say like 100, and that'll run you. Let's see, $24. for 100, that excludes shipping, right? So if you go up to like 500, the price drops, obviously. So 500 is 43 bucks. So the equivalent of like 4 cents, a little over 4 cents for each one of these guys, right? Yeah, I mean 4 cents, you know, and that's for what did I say, 500, right? And the more you order, the lower that price goes. And I mean, that is just so cool. And there's templates and all that kind of stuff that you download, and it shows you how to you know, how to set up you just do a Photoshop file, right? And once you get it set up, you know, you just upload it, and then they do a digital proof, and once it's good, they just ship it out. And I mean, look at this. I mean, regular time is 2 to 4 business days. It's just insane how fast they turn this stuff around. That's way better than some shrimpy business card. Absolutely, because you're advertising everything, right? You know, on both sides. You know, it's just there's so much more information you can offer. You know, yeah, because business cards, you look at it and you look at that card, you look at the name, it's kind of like, okay, they did something, right? And because I pick up so many cards at these conventions. Everyone's always throwing me a card, but once it's done, I have to scratch my head. Unless I physically write on the card and give myself information, I have a hard time remembering what they were talking to me about, you know. I'm old and I drink too much diet soda, so my brain is gone, you know. So, but something like this obviously just sticks out completely. So, yep, that's my suggestion. And super economical, right? So, yeah, give that a look, man. All right. So, yeah, so this is working great. Fire that up, and it asks to load up the latest version. So if I was in Android mode right now, it would bring up that page, which I'm going to switch modes. Now that I got my new Beast machine, switching modes is not that much of a time-consuming thing, so I should have done this while we were chatting, I guess. But alright, so I'm switching from PC mode to Android mode. Sorry, I'm rubbing my eyes now. I know that's totally unprofessional as well, but it's been a long day, so I'm getting tired. I can fill my drink up here again. Yeah, so, and obviously if you have a table, you'd have a little display. You know, you go to any one of those Office Depots and you get those little clear acrylic holders, and you drop them in there, and people will walk by and they'll grab cards, you know. And you know, that's the simplest way. But even if you're just wandering around, you know, in those conventions, they'll do that. We can just kind of walk by the tables and drop a few cards down on the lunch dining tables, right? So people kind of sitting down eating their food, they kind of like, if you got nothing else to do, you'll grab the little cards and check them out and see what's there. So, you know, not as beneficial as talking to someone and handing them a card, but even those, you can still score, you know, some interest from that as well. All right, so while that's cooking, let's also do, although I don't have a link for, and is it Unity? I always get this wrong. Is it Unity iOS? Yeah, it is. So I don't have a link yet since I'm in test flight. So I'll leave this one open for the time being. Add iOS link here. All right. And then I think that's all I really need. You know, PC version, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. That depends on where I'm actually putting the PC game to. Is it going to be Steam? Is it going to be, I mean, oh geez, wherever it goes. So I'm not going to worry about PC right now. Yeah, I mean, Steam just kind of updates it anyways, so that's kind of a redundant thing. But Android and iOS are the key ones, so they'll be set, and that one will be set once I get a link. So that's update, and then case, I'll say sale. I don't know if I'm going to use this ever. I don't know if I'm going to do, like, you know, this weekend. Save, whatever. Hawk. Does UE4 Marketplace accept Unity games? Well, okay, we're talking about two different things. If you're talking about the Epic Store, then yes, they're completely open. If you're talking about the Marketplace, in terms of like creating like Unity content and then trying to sell it in the Unreal Marketplace, no. But excuse me, yeah, if you want to put it on, they're open. They do not restrict it. I think there's, I don't know, I think there's like a slight bonus if it is a true Unreal game. You guys can check me on that. I might be wrong. Which is funny because last night I just had, I went to the IGDA meeting last night where one of the representatives from Epic came out and talked about, of all things, the Unreal Marketplace. His discussion was more about how to use it properly, you know, avoid asset flipping and, you know, use it as quick prototyping. But yeah, there's nothing to stop you from submitting a Unity game to, because they don't care. I mean, in the sense that they see it as a way they're trying to fight the, you know, Valve, right? So if they made their store exclusive only to you know, Unreal games, they would really be missing a chunk of the market, you know. And then you're gonna have other, you know, people like Discord. They're gonna come along and say that, yeah, we'll undercut them and we will truly allow any game engine game, right? So yeah, it's wide open. All right. So oh, what I also need to check too is the ID. Forgot about that. I was gonna do that as well. No, I did. Oh, sorry. That's, yeah, I do have that right there. Hey, hey, look at this. Aria's back. Hey, hey. Oh, did a subscription too. Thank you, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, sorry. I know I've been hiding. You know, I've been doing the day shift. So, Doc. Oh, this is heavy. Yeah, how's it going, Ari? It's been a while. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, had a good Christmas. Yeah, great Christmas, man. Came home and spent time with the family. So, all good here. How about you? Yeah, so, I don't know if you know, because, you know, when I finished the stuff in LA, when you know, so, give context. A month and a half ago, I was in LA for some freelance animation work, and so because I was working all day in LA, I was going to a game center, Blue Screen Gaming, at night, and Dave, the guy that runs the place, was nice enough to set me up there, right? So I was doing these nighttime broadcasts where I would start at 8 p.m., right? And once I got back home and I had no freelance work, I was shifting my time slot back to a more normal time for me. I'm here in Vegas, so 1 p.m. And so yeah, so I'm starting at like 1 p.m. But then that freelance job that I was doing in LA came back to me. So even though I'm here in Vegas in my home, I'm still working on this TV show, which I can't tell you about yet, but I promise once the TV show comes out, I'll tell you all the details. But so now I'm doing these little, I don't want to, you know, like redo my schedule, because anyone that's checking me out and the 1 o'clock time slot, I don't want to sort of like, you know, hose those guys. So I'm doing like a 1 hour lunch break broadcast, and then I'm trying at night to come back and do a few more hours, just so I can get like a full proper several hours in my usual schedule. But anyways, long story short, the whole point is that Aria was hanging out with me a bunch and was keeping me company in all those times when I was back in LA. But when I shifted, unfortunately, because he is, if you pick up on the JP there, on the other side of the planet from me, so understandably not able to make my 1 p.m. schedule. But good to see you again, man. Hope you had a good Christmas too. Yeah, it has been a while. I was distracting me with movie crap. Yes, I loved it, man. And it's a shame. Actually, when I went to the 1 o'clock time slot, I got much more into just talking about game development and just working. You know, so unfortunately, the game discussions didn't come up as frequently, which I missed, because I'm when it comes to movies and TV shows and stuff like that, I'm incredibly opinionated. You know, even the shows I've worked on, man. You know, when I was working on what, like we talked about that before. I worked on at this point it's been a year and a half ago, I guess. God, time flies. But I worked on. Oh, here you go. There. So this is the official crew shirt for the Flash. So I worked on the Flash, and I was working on Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow, and somebody was asking me, it's like, Legends of Tomorrow, do you watch that show? And I went, hey, they pay me to work on it, not watch it. So, I can't say that all the shows I've worked on, I've actually watched. Some of them I've actually gotten into, and some of them were just kind of paychecks, Like, I mentioned this earlier today. I worked on one single shot on the new season of Future Man, which I can mention now because it just came out on Hulu. So for those 8 people out there that have Hulu subscriptions and they watch Future Man, just know that in the final episode, at the very end of I think it's the very end of the final episode, or like right at it, when you get to the Decathlon, the logo, I animated little guys on top of the Decathlon logo, and then there's one crane shot that comes out of the stadium, and then I animated just like these little butterflies that are holding screens up and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was a paycheck. So, anyways, that was a convoluted way of saying that Ari and I were talking shop for a bunch, talking all kinds of movie stuff, and yeah, I miss that, man. I enjoyed all. I love talking about movies, unless I blank on what I'm discussing. Just stop by to Prime Sub. I gotta go to a meeting. Hope you're good. Doing great, man. Thank you so much for coming by. And yeah, I finally got up to a status where I can start getting subs, but thank you so much for the sub, man. I do appreciate that. That's so cool. I'll see about doing this split schedule more in the future, right? But yeah, great to see you again, man. Go to your meeting, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon. And yeah, I think we're on Discord too, but if not, please come over to my Discord and join me on there. I'm always there, so you can chat with me as well. I think it's down below, but just in case. But yeah, definitely join me on that one. So it's not just me and Below the Stone talking stuff on Discord. Which I was mentioning that before. Below the Stone, you guys are so great about like keeping a constant stream of text content going on Discord, and I'm so bad about that, man. You guys are so much better than me at doing that for sure. All right, so if we say sale, then we'll say let's see. Okay, we're doing the split. So then if it's the ID, we already hit the ID. I feel like people might quit because of spam soon, to be honest. Really? Really? I mean, I didn't quit your server on Discord as far as you know. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do sometimes. I will like turn off notifications, because I mean, I'm sure like me, I'm sure you've joined a ton of servers at this point, and when you have all notifications turned on, man, it's just ping, 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 right? So I do it more of if it's directed personally to me, right? Then I get a notification. But no, I don't think there's, until it goes silent, I don't think you have to worry about posting too much stuff. If you have people commenting, and giving you, responses, then yeah, you're doing fine. Alright, so let's see. So I say sale, and then that'll be item 0. So I guess we're gonna hold on to this. I'm kind of thinking this through in my head as I write this, because I haven't implemented this feature yet. But I want to do something where it'll advertise if there's like a sale over the weekend. Shu Hope, you write when the memes and banter page is 100 messages long. Wow. Well, wait, were those all from you two guys, or were they just from you and your fellow people on the channel? If it's just you two guys, then I don't know if that means that you're scaring off your viewers, but it definitely means you need to get to work. 100 memes is like 200 lines of code, man, or 200 new dwarf characters, man. So Okay. We don't know the meaning of get to work. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. So it's a funny story. My best friend who's down in Florida, he bought a condo a bunch of years ago. He'd probably get pissed if I told the story, but he doesn't watch this stuff, so I'm safe. But yeah, we had this running joke on who was going to finish first. Either he's going to finish his condo or I was going to finish my game. And of course, it's just this running gag. And here I am, you know, at the final links before I get this game out the door, and he's still ways off. So I'm rubbing his nose in that big time. It was like 8 people all bouncing off each other with memes for like 3 hours straight one night. Dude, that's fantastic, man. Do not stress over that. If you have that, that means you have an incredibly active server and you guys are doing great. Unproductive, but great. So, yeah, that's fine, man. Do not stress. Okay, so then... this will be... the item that's on sale. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Okay, so how should I do the item on sale? And then percentage off, I guess. It would be discount, percentage, or bonus. Or bonus. That'll work. I also meant to ask, how cards did you print for your con? I'll try to make that my last question about that. No, dude, keep asking. No, absolutely. I look at it this way because, I mean, you saw the prices. Yeah, how many? Yeah, I figured that out. Yep, I still figured it out. Wait, now I'm confused. I'm kidding. Because the cards are so relatively cheap. I mean, if you look at the cost of what you're doing, you know, in terms of your, you know, if you go to a convention, in your, you know, full cost, I tend to get way too many, which is one of the reasons I was able to show you one of those cards, because I usually come up with a new card before I run out of my old card. So I buy too many, because the last thing you want is to say, you know, someone, oh, can I get one of those cards? And you go, oh, dude, sorry, man, that was my last one. You know, because you know at that point, boom, you know, those connections are dead to you, right? You know, and you have, who knows, 5, 6, 7 more conversations with other people, and then you have to tell them, well, go to my website. You know, no, you need those cards. I'm fine with too many versus running out. Yeah. You know, depending on the length of the convention and how much schmoozing you guys are going to do. Now, there's 2 of you, so you can cover more ground. I would say, you know, 250 is good. You know, 500, and also just keep in mind too that if, you know, if it's a game that you're talking about that's still in development, right? There's no reason why they can't sit on the shelf, right? Get 500 and know that you have more, you know, to use at future conventions. So, and what did I say? The 500 was only like $43. I mean, come on. The Uber that's going to take you from the airport to whatever convention you're going to and back is going to cost you more than the 500 cards would cost you. So, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing when you come home with a giant mound of cards, you know, so, you know, as you get closer on, you find yourself just kind of like, you know, doing the Rip Torn thing. You're just throwing cards everywhere, you know, just, you gotta get rid of them all. Don't want to take them home, you know. But definitely better to have too many than too few. I think there's only been like one time that I can remember, and it's usually with business cards that I've run out. I don't remember any time I've come close to running out of postcards, but I don't know of any convention I ever ran out completely. So that's it. That's my suggestion. You know, you'll be able to judge it better, you know, because in my case it's different what you're talking about. In my case, I had a booth, a table, and you know, constantly putting the cards out on the table, you know, and people walk by, grab one because it's free and it's glossy and it's shiny, and why not? It's free. But if you're just walking around glad handing, I don't know how many cards you're going to be handing out. Hey, Fletcher King's here. How's it going, man? Do I have any kids? No, I am a kid. No, my wife and I, we are more dog people than kid people. So, how's it going, man? Good to see you again. So no, we don't. And that's part of the reason, too, I'm able to devote myself so much to the game development and occasional animation jobs and not have to worry about doing animation 24/7. Because, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you've seen, I think you've seen my puppy Penny. She attacks me when I have the door open. But, yeah, so, you know, on the plus side, I can be more, I don't know, what's the proper word? Selfish? You know, more ambitious and not have to worry about, you know, and you know, once again, I live in Vegas. So cost of living is a fraction of what it was back in LA. So those two things alone allow me to be much more ambitious in doing the game development, right? Without stressing about making the mortgage payments. Nothing wrong with that. I am 23 and I already have 2. It can be quite a task. Jeez, man. Yeah, I'm sure. And yeah, that's definitely got to be a challenge for you for sure. I'm 14 and have 3. Call yourself lucky. You're 14 and have 3. Wow, man, you started early. That's impressive. Wow. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, we had that conversation. My wife and I, at this point, we've been married for what, like, yeah, we're up to like 15 years now. Yeah, triplets. Yeah, when we had that conversation way early, and we just decided that, you know, rather than, you know, save up for the you know, kids' college fund, we'd just spend the cash. So that's what we've done. All right. And then, let's see, if show news, that's good. Not 3 different chicks. That was like an old joke. What was the joke? It was like, you're the only woman I know that had 2 kids from 3 different dads. Wow. Well, that's good, man. That's good. You're, you know, what, spreading it around? I don't know the proper way to say that, but there you go. Well, keep at it, man. I'm sure you'll you know, you'll find the perfect. What? I don't even know what. I'm gonna just back up and let that slide. I don't even know where to go with that conversation. So, hope you have more kids than you do STDs, my friend. Yeah, I hear he's neck and neck. You know. He buys baby powder for the kids and ointment for himself. Oh, man. The nighttime stream is going off the rails very quickly. Curly time. Oh, no, it's great. No, I take the kid in to, you know, see the pediatrician, and it's like, hey, doc, while I'm here, could you check out this rash here? Oh, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Okay, so... Alright, so then that would be stored there. So then we can simulate this. If I bring this back up, and we'll say... we can sail. And we'll just call it a sail, like that. That's what we're looking for, right? And then we'll say, this weekend, and I can't spell. This weekend only. 20% off all coins. 25% off the price of all coins. Nighttime degenerate stream. Yep. This is when all those high people start going to those 24/7 gas stations to hang out. Yep. I keep getting older, but the girls keep staying the same. When he goes into the doctor's office and they hand him that paper with a clipboard to check mark his health issues, he plays connect the dots. Or he just grabs it and just like starts at the top and just draws a line straight through all the boxes. It's just much faster that way, you know, because at that point, you know, every moment is precious. So any way you can get that form filled out faster. Okay, is the doc available? Can I see him now? Oops, I got an error. I'll have one of everything, please. Alright, what did I break down here? Oh, because I'm doing this, but I'm not actually doing a call, am I? Crap, I forgot how to do this offhand. So I'm going to go Unity web page call. I think it's www something. Boom. Load web page. I used to remember this one, but I just haven't done it in a while, so I forgot. What do you mean it doesn't have? You lie. Open URL. There it is. There it is. Application. Open URL. And then this should be in quotes because it's a string. Like so. And we're good. Any ideas when this game will be polished to the point where you can start working on a new game with the new version of Unity? Well, here, I show you. I was showing it earlier. This is literally the remaining items. Barring any other bugs that you guys find in the meantime, if I can dig through this list and get that out, and then I do what I consider to be hopefully the finished version. I also need to do the gameplay trailer, so I'm going to work on that. But once the gameplay trailer is knocked out, then I get to move on to the next game. And yes, I will be moving up to 2018. And it's going to be fun. Dude, I'm telling you right now, you guys, man, I'm so excited to tell you guys about it, but I can't quite share it yet because I want to do like a whole like presentation. But I'll tease it yet again. So it is going to be a video game based on a famous character from the world of science fiction that was created 50 years ago and has never had a video game made about it specifically. So how's that for a teaser? And yes, it is fully licensed. So that's the other reason I'm anxious to get, you know, Valley Village out the door, because I'm just dying to work on this next game. So, but that's in terms of timeline, I don't know. You know, I mean, it's a combination of how much I can finish up this freelance work and get that out of the way and get back to working on this like 24/7. And the gameplay trailer, I'm hoping that that's just a you know, a few days, a week on the outside to get that polished and done. Is it Bill Nye the Science Guy? I don't think he's been quite. Now, he's definitely a space cadet, but I don't think I would say he's been at it for 50 years. So, 50 years ago. Well, you know, Bill Nye did have that episode where he was time traveling, right? You know, didn't he have that one where he was kind of no. Nice guess, but no. Not a fictional character, but I guess some people think that Bill Nye is a fictional character too. So I guess that still kind of works, but no, not Bill Nye. Yeah, you know, come to think of it, why hasn't anyone made a Bill Nye Science Guy video game yet? I'd play that. At least if I could, like, smack him around or something. He's 63. He actually did some commercials when he was a kid. Okay. Wow. There is my fun fact for the day. I did not know that. That's fascinating. Huh. Alright. You're going to be happy now? Good. Alright, let's try this again. And let's see if our little message comes up with the special. Alright, wait for it. And there it is. Weekend sale. This weekend only 20% off the price of all coins. Oh, but the update button popped up. Why did the update button pop up? That was wrong. Oh, did I leave it on? That's probably why. I did. It was on by default. That's my mistake. That should be off by default. Save that again. Fire it up again. Dude, I would definitely play a game like Dirty Jobs with Micro. Oh, that would be so cool, wouldn't it? Hello, I'm Micro, and welcome to Dirty Jobs. Yeah, you know, without saying too much, man, Micro, man, absolute inspiration. I think that guy is so amazingly cool. Yeah. I mean, it just, yeah. That's all I'm going to say. It's just, you know, very cool guy. Alright, so, and then, let's see. And then if we switch this code back on, so this is where we check the ID of the news message. And since we've seen that news message now, we only want that to pop up once. And so now we should be able to start the game. And, wow, that's a ton of characters down below, isn't it? That must be left over from, I don't know. Or just a ton of people like coming in for like 4 seconds and bailing. That's kind of a sad thought when you think about it. It's kind of like, hey, look at this, man. He's just rocking this, you know, here. Oh, wrong way. He's rocking this stream. And then you kind of go, no, he's not. All right, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to try and aim for the there you go. I'll aim for the people that have already come and gone. So, if I hit the other guys, sorry about that. Incoming! Just throwing a couple right there in the corner. I thought we were friends! Yeah, but, you know, when the bomb's gotta fly, the bomb's gotta fly. Booged. I got some mad hair there. See, I've cheated up here so I can do it in the middle here. There he goes. I don't want to neglect the middle, so there we go. Boom, right off the sides. All right, so let's see. I think that pretty much covers this guy. I think that there may be some other things I want to add that I'm not thinking of yet, but you know, the key items would be if it's empty, do nothing. So, and then if that's just like a regular information thing, so let me test that too. So let me come back to here. Yeah, this guy. We'll edit him, and we'll say just a, let's see, say just a simple hello. Alright, and then we'll say it's empty, and then I'll put a value here just so there's something there, but I just leave this as 0. Nothing big, just hello. Alright, and I'll leave the logo in there. Oh crap, I gotta, oops, I forgot, I gotta knock this code back out again. Otherwise it'll never run, because right now it's gonna have that same ID. Just booted up Hulu, gonna watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid on the side. Alright, oh, if you got a Hulu, I don't know if you were around when I was mentioning the fact that, so if you watch the final episode of oh come on, Future Man, I worked on that episode, so you know the one with Seth Rogen in there, and the Decathlon, you know, is the big text and the little characters running across the top. I animated that with the little things that pop up and eviscerate the guys, and then there's like the camera move that goes over the stadium, you know, and I animated little butterflies. That was like a quickie thing, which was funny because actually I rigged the butterflies, which is not my usual thing. I do not, I rig my own characters, but if I'm working in a VFX house, I don't rig, you know, because there are guys that do it exponentially better than me, but it was such a quick thing that we had to do that I did it. So that might be one of the first things that, well, it's been the first thing in a long time that hit the air that I rigged and animated. But you know, for anyone that actually watches Future Man, just keep that in mind. On Hulu. I like Hulu, man. I signed up for that super deal they had, 99 cents a month for a year. And I've been burning through Rick and Morty's now. Rick and Morty's and Robot Chicken. Which I did, that's funny, Robot Chicken, my connection with that is I worked on a commercial for this one company that was literally in the same building as that Robot Chicken was being done in. Didn't see anyone from it, but it was just kind of cool. That was kind of my brush with greatness there. I've never even heard of this TV show. I'm going to watch this 100% now. I love that kid. He is a pretty good actor. Yeah, though he was in the Hunger Games movies, right? Yeah, he was the main character, the main male lead in that one. It's kind of funny. The premise is great, you know, and it's Seth Rogen, but for me, it's just like the humor is like right on the verge of being funny. But it's like that somebody that tells you like that yeah, Peter, there you go, you know. But for me, Future Man is like that, you know, like someone is telling you this joke, right? And you're just, I mean, as soon as they start telling the joke, you're just laughing already, right? You're just chuckling, right? And the joke is going so great. And then, you know, the person tells the joke and they build up the great punchline and they deliver it, and then you kind of go, oh, yeah, that was funny, right? And for me, that's Future Man. I mean, it sets up all these great moments, right? You know, all these great things. And you're kind of going, oh, this is going to be hysterical. And then they come to the big, you know, clutch moment of what should be the big payoff. And it's like, oh, yeah. So yeah, I guess, yeah, bottom line is Seth Rogen runs hot and cold for me. Some of the stuff he's done in the past, I thought is just hysterical. And some of the stuff he's done is kind of like, no. No, not working for me. Sorry, buddy. Joe Rogan. Big difference there. I did see Joe Rogan at a MMA event one time. This has been like, 15 years ago. He was just like, I mean, that was before he's doing the broadcasting stuff too. Just a simple hello, nothing big, just hello. Yeah, he was like a few rows in front of us. So it was like when they announced Diablo on mobile. This is it, guys. The moment you've all been waiting for. Diablo on your phone. Crickets, crickets, crickets. Yeah. Hi. I know it's not April, but any chances like April Fools? I'm paraphrasing, but Mr. Red Shirt who asked that question, you know, as impolite and as like painful as it was, I still think it is funny that he did ask that. Tumbleweeds. Yeah. They're not buying it. They're not buying it. Off-season April Fool's joke. There it is. Off-season April Fool's joke. Kudos to that guy for pulling that one off. That was, you know, normally I'm not a big fan of smartasses, but that was so appropriate, you know, and so well timed, you know. And the fact that he was a red shirt, too, just makes it all the better. Because you know he didn't make it out of the building alive, right? There's no way. Yeah. Son, hey, we'd like to have another follow-up discussion with you. Can you come over to this dark room? Yeah, ignore the guys holding the pipes. Just come right back here. He had to lie to get to the mic to say that. Oh, that's even better. No way. Yeah, I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask about, you know, the interactivity on the screen and how difficult it was to translate. Boom, and he does that one. That's like a mic drop moment, you know. It's kind of like, yeah, I know, you know, off-season April Fool's joke by any chance? Yeah, he gets bigger applause than the announcement of the game gets. That's a bad sign for them, right? Alright, so I'm going to turn this code back on, and check this out. I'm going to come into my to-do list, if I can find it, and I'm going to mark this puppy done, because he's done. What is your question? Just gonna ask about the character animation. Off season April. Yeah. Felt bad for those guys off stage, especially the you guy got phone, right? Because the trash talked one of their previous games before the reveal for Diablo on stage. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it just, I mean, I feel sorry for the guys that are on stage, obviously. But, you know, there's so many ways to play that. Right? And that wasn't it. You know, I just, you have to be so deluded to think that you're not going to get that kind of blowback. I mean, we talked about this before, but I still think it's just, I mean, that one's going to go down, like, in history, I think, in just terms of how not to do an announcement, right? I mean, that is definitely the inverse of the classic Steve Jobs. And one more thing, you know, I don't, you don't, no sympathy for those guys. Like the old line from the movie Airplane, Shayna, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. They went on stage and told a PC crowd that they were going to go play the next game on their phone. What could go wrong? Yeah, that is golden. Okay, on the red side. Yeah, I'm not going to start that tonight. This one is going to be a bit of a beast. Right now I have Blue Bot Player, and that's up and working nicely, and I need to translate. But you know what? Come to think of it, I shouldn't do that here. I should probably put him down after I do the AI tweaks. That would be kind of a smart move. And then this is my little cherry on the pie here. The GDPR, right? So I can make it all compliant and friendly with Europe, so I don't get in trouble. Okay, Google Connect. Yeah, that one's going to be not necessarily simple either, but that one, this item is so in case you start with a guest account and you want to go ahead and pair it up with a Google Play account so it will be transferable and you don't lose your stuff. I need to add a button here that says connect to Google Play. I wonder what Bethesda will look like next year, this year, 2019. Yeah, I don't know. You know, they'll bounce back. I mean, they'll survive it, but I think. Are we moving on to the Fallout stuff now? Is that what we're kind of hinting towards? To be honest, I've not been a Fallout follower. You know, I've had some friends that have screamed about 76, but you know, I have the games. I own pretty much all the way up to Vegas, but you know, it's because I've been so obsessed with making the games. My backlog of games measures literally in the hundreds now, you know. So I have not played that, which I know is embarrassing, but true. Okay, so let me come back to here. So we're not going to do that, because that's going to be way too much. I can do button presses, that's kind of boring. I feel like indies might take over and become the new big companies soon if they keep down this track. Excuse me. So my theory is, I think you're right to a degree, but, excuse me, you know, to quote the old Who song, meet the old boss, same as meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Indie devs rise up. To create an analogy to the film industry, right? In the late 80s, early 90s, you had, you know, the Weinstein brothers, the now infamous Jerry Weinstein, who created Miramax, right? And at that point, you know, companies, dev companies, I didn't even realize how low I was. Am I low in the chair? Let me get the baby high chair thing. So yeah, they formed Miramax, right? Because you only had a handful of companies. You had the United Artists, you had the Universal, the you know, Paramounts, right? And they were just controlling the theaters completely, right? So then Miramax stepped up and started doing these like $1 million budget films, right? And he was a genius at advertising, and you know, what happened was he started making these art house films that were getting more exposure, and he started skunking the studios, right? He started getting all these films that were doing great, doing on a shoestring budget, right, and making a fortune. And what happened was that Miramax grew, and it became, you know, just a massive company. And, you know, so I think it's difficult for an indie to expand and not either grow into something. I mean, you know, Bethesda was you know, a handful of guys too, right? I mean, most of these companies do start small, right? And the ones that succeed kind of blow up. Oh, Caden, welcome, man. Yeah, this is my game. Sorry, I was just chatting away. Give you a quick rundown. Valley Village. Sorry for the redundancy for anyone else here, but mobile game. It's currently in beta. It's going to be a free-to-play game for iOS and Android, and then later for desktop. Multiplayer online cross-platform. Gist of it is, yeah, welcome, by the way. Welcome. So, kind of Angry Birds meets Battleship, right? So, Angry Birds, because you can see, you know, the targeting works just like Angry Birds kind of thing, right? You drag your finger back. And what you're doing is you're aiming for the bouncing buildings, right? Because the bouncing buildings are actually powering the force field. So if you drop all the buildings, force field goes away, you hit the catapult, and it's game over. Couple bonus things are these random crate that they pop up. They're power-ups, and whoever shoots it first scores it. In this case, boom. Now my buildings are covered in fog. It's semi-transparent, just so you can see it, but trust me, the other player will not see it. It's completely opaque on their side. You can see that the AI sent out some villagers to repair buildings. You could do that, but the more guys you send out, that means you got fewer guys on your catapult, which means that your reload times are going to be slower. So I'm able to fire twice as fast as him because I didn't send my guys out, and he's going to pay a price. Oh, wait. Oh, look at that. Do you see that? So he got a building rebuilt, and you can see that the force field was coming back online, and the force field came up like literally a fraction of a second before I hit it. That's kind of cool. Those are always the close ones. That's kind of fun. How many mobile games have you deployed? This is going to be number 6 for me. This is game 6. And game over. There you go. Obviously, this is my most ambitious game I've done so far. All the ones before have just been kind of single player, maybe like leaderboards, but nothing that's been online multiplayer. And then you see the sharks chase away the villagers. So yeah, this is game number 6. Oh, and then, sorry, this is the... sorry. This is what I was working on when you were just asking the question. This is a news update, which is working. That's good. And then the final thing is, I'll show real quick, is I say Angry Birds meets Battleship because you can actually customize the layout, right? And you can either do it with random, or you can just drop the pieces in one by one. Let's see. Any big ones? How successful have you been? I'm making a mobile infinite runner, reason I ask. Wondering if you have any tips. Yeah, so what you have to do is make a game that's really successful. Sorry, no, I don't mean to be a smartass. I really don't have a formula. I've released games that have been downloaded in the hundreds, and I've released a game that's been downloaded over 6 million times. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay, so I'll get off on a little diatribe here, but it's interesting story and a repeat for some of the guys here, and I apologize beforehand. But so you're familiar with Angry Bird, Flappy Bird, right? You of course are familiar with Flappy Bird. I kind of created Flappy Bird years before Flappy Bird did. I had a goofy idea for a video game, and I told my wife about it, and she said it was a stupid idea. And I said, but I could do it quick. I just bang it out. I could throw it together, right? And then she's like, well, then go do it, right? And so I spent 5.5 weeks on a game just because I had to prove to her that I could make a game in a month. Well, okay, 5.5 weeks, but I was shooting for a month, right? And I put it out there, and it was very rough. It was very unpolished. And I told my friends about it, so they would download it. And I put all my friends' names in the game just to crack them up. So I made a video game to amuse my friends. And the premise is simple. You're on the bridge of the Titanic, right? And I mean, it's goofy, it's tongue-in-cheek, you know, and some people think it's in bad taste, but you're on the bridge of the Titanic, right? There's the iceberg, there's the wheel, you turn the wheel, right? And you have 15 seconds to turn the wheel and make the ship miss the iceberg. That's literally the whole game, right? But I say it's the original Flappy Bird because this game came out a few years before Flappy Bird, right? And the art is incredibly simple. The gameplay is incredibly simple. You just turn the wheel. That's the entire game, right? And when I released it, I didn't test it well. I tested it with a few friends, and I thought I had a good idea of what the challenge should be. And I released it, and I looked at the analytics, and 98% of the people that played the game couldn't beat the game. So, you know, and as a result, I think what happened was I didn't advertise it, and I did Google alerts, and no one talked about the game. So it had no publicity, no one wrote stories about it, but the game found its own audience, and it ended up getting downloaded, as I said, over 6 million times. It hit #1, at this point I think 7 million, between iOS and Android combined. And I'll show you the game. It is called Save the Titanic. And I can't even type now. Oh, come on. I'll just go to my website here. Alright, so this is my website. There you go. So these are the games I've released. This is the game I'm working on, and this is a prototype that I've thrown together, have not released. Let me switch back here. And this is Save the Titanic. So this one was my juggernaut hit. I haven't even updated that sign in ages. So what are you saying is to make a successful mobile game, just make it unbeatable? Well, it's yes and no. The lessons I learned was that, so yeah, it had this meteoric rise, right? But like a jumbo jet whose engines instantly stop, it went straight to the ground. So, you know, I updated the version and I lowered the difficulty a bit because what happened is I was getting a ton of 1-star ratings where people were complaining, right? They were complaining going, this game sucks, man. I can't even get past the first level. It's like, dude, that's all there is. It's a joke. It's one level. That's the entire game, man. That's it, you know? So I lowered the difficulty because I got all these 1 stars. And when I did that, I started getting 5 stars from people kind of going, oh, it's stupid, it's silly, but okay. You know, but then what happened was when people beat the game, they were done, right? So once they finished, it was gone. So I had no longevity, right? There was no, yeah, the claymation style, which I did just for 2 reasons. Number one, I didn't want to do it like photorealistic, just because I thought then it started getting into bad taste, right? Because I'm doing this kind of tongue-in-cheek. And number 2, the clay look was easier to replicate. I made all the art assets in a day and a half for the entire game. Excuse me. And the irony, here's the funny thing. The irony is that all the assets were made, check this out, in a ancient old 3D program called Lightwave 3D, right? So I made all the art assets in a 3D program, which, here's the punchline. Lightwave 3D is what was used by Digital Domain to do the Titanic in the movie, James Cameron's Titanic movie. So technically I used the same program with different Titanic results, of course. Do you have any claymation shaders for Unity? How'd you do that? So these are all just pre-rendered sprites, right? None of this stuff is displayable except as a straight-on 2D sprite. I don't know. This game at this point, I say it's before Flappy Bird. This game now is over 6 years old, right? So at the time, there's no way to do that. So the detail is in Lightwave, exactly. You know, I mean, you could do the same thing in Blender. These days, Blender has become quite powerful and is free. Yeah, and this was only my second or third game at the time, right? And it was a lot of stuff I was doing I didn't know how to do at the time, you know, because I'm predominantly artist and just like fraction programmer. So for me, it was just trying to get the game out as quickly as I could, right? And let's see. I've been trying to find a claymation shader for Unity forever. I want to make a claymation styled shooter. Oh, I love it. My suggestion would be to look at a toon shader, right? If you look at a toon shader, okay, like what I'm doing here. Let me switch out of my 2D mode. I'm using this toon shader for all of my villager characters, right? So let me bring out a red team villager. So I'll bring out like this guy. So now the trick is just you'd have to either really boost the polygon count or use yeah, you could use normal map to try and get that kind of indentation, of the rising and the falling of the clay, to try and sell that kind of shading, I think. But the catch is I think you're gonna really have to boost the polygon count to get it not looking like polygons and more like clay. If you look at all the games over the years that have a clay style, I think they're all 2D renders. Thinking off the top of my head, there's Clay Fighter, right? Clay Fighter. There he goes. So you have Clay Fighter, which this is all pre-rendered 2D stuff, right? So I mean, you have that concept. You don't think you could do like a normal map type thing? Yeah, that'll get you. Where did my Titanic go here? That will get you this, the kind of bumpy shaded look on the side here. Yes, I think you can get that, but I have all these smooth curved edges, which if you're doing polygons, I think I have a harder time to have it not have those faceted edges unless you boost the polygon count. And then the question is how many characters do you have on screen at any given moment? Have it animate random footprint maps on it as it animates. Yeah, you could. I was working on, speaking of Lightwave and speaking of Claymation, I was working on I don't even know if I have any of it on my NAS drive anymore. I was trying to do an animated short where I was simulating Claymation in 3D. Not in real time, but I was doing, basically what you're talking about, right, was that I had a procedural texture that would ripple through the model, right, and do the deformations, over time. Here's what I had a few years ago. Bring this over, if you don't mind me sharing. Cool. The first thing I would say is kill the specular highlight, right? I mean, as soon as you see the specular highlight, you lose that. I mean, the texture you're pretty close on. You could, you definitely need some shading deformations, right, to get that feeling like those parts are pushed out and pulled in. Look at the feet as the character as he walks. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I can see it like flattens out and comes back. Yeah, going for gummy. Yeah, and Unity has support for blend shapes now, right? So that is something that you could think of. Now, the catch with using blend shapes in real time, that was inconceivable just a few years ago, right? But now, even on the mobile side, the stuff is getting so fast that it might be a possibility. But when you're using blend shapes, it has to calculate it on the fly for every vertex that you're pushing and pulling, right? So you're going to get a significant performance hit if you try and go that way. But yeah, I like what you're shooting for. Absolutely. I don't know if you were like if that's how you're doing the feet is through a blend shape. You can tell me that, but if it is, I mean, you can explore the idea of having those deformations, or like you're talking about with the normal map. Well, no, you'd want it to be more subtle than that. I was going to say you have a normal map that is animated, but I think you're going to have it looking more like, flashy and flaky and bouncing all over the place. So I don't know if you'd want to try and do that approach. But, no, that's a cool idea, man. Yeah, I'd like to see it for sure. But yeah, I hate to pull the rug out from under you, but yeah, this is all 2D fake stuff. So I think I was doing blend shapes. This was like years ago. I'm gonna go back on this game after I finish my Infinite Runner game. Cool, yeah. And the beauty of it is that we're years later. I think it's I think the plugin is now given away free now, isn't it? Oh, what is it? I don't remember what the name of it is. Mega... Oh, crud. Megafires? Is that... Oh, come on. It's supposed to default to assets. Thank you. Not ass. Megafires. Yeah. I think Megafires is now... Oh, is it still for sale? I thought it was actually included in the new version of Unity. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Unity purchased it and embedded it in... maybe not. But I do own this myself, and I haven't played with it just because I haven't pursued the idea of trying to do real-time deformations. Feet are cool in that walk cycle. Yeah, I like the deformation. Yeah, definitely. Right. Or your host. That all works as well. Yeah. That's crazy because normally I just go like this and it pops up. So I don't know why it didn't pop up that time. It just want to make me look like a a neighing four-legged toad creature. Anyways. But yeah, buddy, I definitely wish you luck on that. And I would say pursue it. I think if you can pull off something that is somewhat convincing, the nice thing about that is you now have something unique, right, that makes the game stick out. So, you know, worst case, you can fall back to doing as a 2D cheat, you know, and just have 2D animated characters. And if you have enough rotational poses on the characters, you can still kind of make it look like 3D. And because and think about this, now this is, since it is claymation, right, you can have those different poses, and when it snaps from, you know, rotation to rotation to go through the different sprite sets, that would look natural because, you know, sprite animation or claymation has that kind of jumpy look to it anyways. Did you download your UI or make it yourself? For this game, actually, I bought the UI for this one. This one was purchased. Some of my previous games, like Save the Titanic, those were buttons made by myself. In this case, yeah. Oh, so check this out. Let me see if I can... So, funny story. Originally, Volley Village, I was going for a claymation look. Jeez, I don't even know. I'd have to go look in some of my old files because... And, I mean, this is an old gameplay. But originally, I was making the buildings look kind of like I did with Titanic, the clay thing, and the villagers were 2D sprites. And I had them in like animation cycles from the sprite sheet. And I was going for the clay look. The problem for me was the fact that the scale was so small with the characters that the clay never registered, right? And additionally, ironically, even though you think 2D, you do that because it's cheaper, you know, in terms of processing, but it ended up being a bigger draw on the processor. So when I went to 3D, I actually got a performance boost instead of reduction, which is just kind of backwards from what you'd think it'd be. But he's still bombing. Here, I'll throw you a couple more here. There you go. Incoming. So, but yeah, and you can blend 2 and 3D as well, right? And I mean, if you see what I'm doing here, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm using a blend of 2 and 3D. Yeah, I know. Go away. There. So, oh, sweet. Dude, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. So, yeah, any object that physically turns around, right? You have it like sharks and then the launcher. Those are 3D objects. But these guys, you can see they're actually just 2D sprites, right? So, and then hopefully, if I do this right, you don't really pick up on the fact that these are 2D sprites, right? By blending in the 2D and 3D, you know, hopefully it just kind of gives the whole thing a feel. Oh, nice, man. Thank you so much. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for the cheer. That's awesome. Thanks, man. But yeah, just doing this and doing the follow too. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. That's awesome. But so yeah, so doing a mix of the two, I think you can kind of hide the stuff better as well, right? So that's something to look at, right? But Yeah, consider doing that. Consider looking at, if you can't come up with a decent shader that works in real time, you know, then you can try and do that fake concept, right? With pre-rendered, but just, and then the beauty of doing that too is, you know, obviously you're going to get better performance, but you can also do all kinds of squishy and deformation, right? Look, oh, I don't know if you've seen, Unity has new 2D tools out, right? And they have a ton of new features on the 2D tools that allow you to do deformations and squishing and stretching, so you can get all kinds of interesting deformations on each of the individual 2D sprites. So you may find that you can actually have like a set of 8 or 16 positions, variations. Oh geez, look at that, man. Thank you again. I'm getting blasted. I love it, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, so think of it, either like a cardinal, like 8 directions, or if you have the space, you know, 16, right? You know, 16 different positions, rotations for that character, all rendered with that kind of clay look, right? You know, and you could even take it so far as each of the body parts has multiple iterations of it with different deformations to the body, you know, like the thumbprints and fingerprints, and you cycle through those, right? And then even if the character's standing there and it's just cycling through the stomach, right, and the chest, if it has like 5 different variations of the finger presses and it cycles through it, and it's doing just the breathing motion like that, you're gonna get clay look. I think you can completely sell it. I think you can. So that's my suggestion. You know, that would be my suggestion for trying to simulate, because trying to do real-time deformation with a model, possible for 3D, possible for PC, but if you're aiming for mobile, then that's gonna be hard to not have a performance killer, I believe. How would you get the character position to look good with those 2D iterations? Would you do it straight orthographic? I would. I'm not using an orthographic camera just because I really wanted to show perspective to my islands. But as you can see the sprites, I have them rotated at like a 30-degree angle, so that lines up with the camera's tilt down position. So if we look at the let's see, where's my main camera? So if we come up here, let me go into like a one-player game. There. So if we look at the camera's rotation, local, right? So there. So you see the camera is at this angle, right? And in order to make the buildings look right, I had to do the trouble of making all the buildings rotated back, so it always had that perfect perpendicular angle to it, right? So had I done a flat on orthogonal view, right, it would have made life easier, but then I've completely lost all that perspective angle, right? You know, now the game looks kind of weird. So this has that 3D look to it, right? But if you're doing like a 2D kind of game, then absolutely, orthogonal will work fine for you, I believe. Yeah, I see it. So just move the icons camera to make it look good, but keep the renders ortho. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, and just, you know, I mean, it worked for Doom, right? As long as you have the character, even if it's in 3D situation, if they're, you know, billboards and they're always facing towards camera, then the camera can, drift around and move through the environment, you know. But if you're going to just do it as a side view, as a 2D kind of thing, then you could consider doing it as a orthogonal view instead. That's my suggestion, though. So, all right. So where are we at here? Is there anything? I was looking at the other things that I need to do. I'm playing as blue. Oh, there you go. There's a simple fix. So this one I'm going to need a second player, because this is a fix that I wanted to do. 10 frames per second claymation fighter game. Yeah, and that's because they only had so much memory, right? And when I was doing that, when I was trying to make my villagers like clay characters, right? And I only had like the when they would run the gear, there was literally, I think I had 4. You know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You know, and I only had those 4. You know, so it had that kind of, you know, stepping claymation look to it, but it didn't really do much for it, and it was affecting performance, which is kind of crazy, and primarily that was also because I was cycling through the characters, and probably not in an efficient way. There's probably a better way to cycle through the characters, the images, than I was using, and that might have been a performance hit. But then, like I said, I did an experiment of switching to 3D just to see how the difference would be, and when I saw the 3D was faster, then from that point on, it was all about doing 3D. At least in my case, it fit better. But, alright. Let's see. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm going to do a quick restroom break, I think. So I've been going for a couple hours here, but I'm not done yet. I still want to finish up a couple things and have a little more conversation with you guys. So if you hang tight, just give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. Alright, and I'm back. Here you go. I'll greet you guys again with a nice little bombing run there. Boom. Alright. So, Kaden, I hope that helps, man. I hope that gives you some ideas, food for thought there. But, sup, peeps? Blowstone's still talking. Uh-oh. Blowstone's going nuts here. Blowstone is the true troublemaker. Alright, so let me do this. Let me, oh, I don't have a folder up at all? Okay. I'm going to bring up a second iteration of the game so I can play with the editor. Because what I need to do is I need to play from the other side, the blue side. So go PC, like so. Alright, there he goes. So I'm bringing up a second version of the game. What I want to do is something very simple, but very specific, and I need to have it play as the blue character. And right now, if you ever play the bot, and I'm going to change this, you always play as the red character. So in that case, oh, I got to turn that off. I keep forgetting about that. Where's alright, yeah, I gotta mark this out. If I don't do it now, I will forget. Alright, so this is the check, where it's checking for if there's like a news story, and it does it here, and if it's already shown it before, it won't show it again. But I had that, oh no, actually, oh, wait, did I not have that active? Wait, that's strange. Alright, let me come back to this and check. I think I actually put that code back in there, but didn't save it again. I think that was my mistake. So let me check. I just want to make sure that the news doesn't pop up. It shouldn't. All right. Let's wait for it. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. There it goes. All right. So in the log, I see that it loaded the news but didn't display it. That's correct. Good. Okay. So let's come back to this. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to let this guy be red, and then the editor's going to be blue. The reason I'm doing this, there you go, and then here's the little confrontation scene where they're like tormenting each other. And then you set little icons at the bottom of the screen. That's the other place where it shows up in the, you know, in an online match. All right, so this was the thing I wanted to address, which, wait, really doesn't look that bad to me. My note. Thanks again, man. Wow, another cheer. Jeez, you're spoiling me, man. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, also, don't forget. Let me show you this. So, yeah, because my stream, normally I do it at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I don't normally do this at night. This is kind of because I'm doing some freelance work and it's sort of like wreaked havoc on my schedule. But there's the Discord, man. So if you ever want to talk to me, I'm always on Discord. Unless I'm asleep. And even then, I think I text sometimes in my sleep. So you can even reach me when I'm sleeping, I think. But, yeah, if you want to talk more, you know, I'm happy. I'm an open book, man. Anything I've learned, anything that I know, I'm happy to share. So, yeah, please, come on over to the Discord. Join me on there. And you can hit me up with any other questions. So, so this was my note. And it may be just I had this note from ages ago, and I already fixed it. But the note specifically was, in an online game, when playing as blue, move red's force field closer to camera to cover the crew better. I think he looks pretty well covered. Yeah, I mean, it's less one of the other characters that sticks out more, but, you know, yeah. I don't think that's a big deal. Alright, let me just make sure that these guys are the same. Oh, that's wrong, though. Ooh. Alright, that's terrible. Okay, I did notice this. Look at this. This is wrong. It's completely showing the wrong characters on both sides here. That's not good. So it should be a mix of characters, but then on the blue side over here we see just the base villager character. Man, I thought I had that licked. Unless... Oh, wait. Maybe this is an older version? Let's see. I'll quit this. I'm back in Android now. So this is 6.4. No, this is the latest build. Crap. Alright, so that's not working properly. Let me see. Customize. Select villagers. Yeah. So he should be all those guys. So, alright. I have to put that back on my list again. Crud. Online game. Villagers are incorrect. Crud. I thought that one was working. Alright. Well, the reason I brought it up, like I said, was to check the shield, but I'm going to just go ahead and mark that as done. Because that looked fine to me. So I think it may have fixed that sometime in the past and just not remarked that one out. Marked it as done. So I'm going to throw that down here in the done category. My beautiful high-tech system, Notepad. Alright. So, yeah, I have to look at that. I'll kill him now. Oh, and then, yeah, we missed this too. So after the game's over, you can choose your response on an online match. You can choose if you want to be disrespectful, neutral, or respectful. And then it plays the matching animation. And each villager has their own unique animations. And then, so you see the wizard, he won, so he's like, you know, ready for more. And then red side lost, so he's looking all dejected. Alright. So let me check to see if there's anything else that's... yeah, I can do that, but that's actually kind of a tedious process, so I won't tackle that now. I guess I could do that. Default to an AI match. Let's see. How many coins do you think you'll start people with? They'll start with 100. I've looked at some of the other games, and a lot of them I've seen, you start with 100. and that gives you an opportunity to either just start with 25, you know, and you can play 4 matches before ever running out of coins, and then you can just come back up here and immediately boom, hit 25 every hour, you know, without having to watch any videos, and now you got more coins to play another 25 match. So I'm hoping 100 is good enough to get started with, that you can at least play a few matches before you ever have to face an issue of running out of coins. Obviously, if you start off playing 100 right off the bat, you're chancing it, you know. But, you know, there's always free coins, right? You know, you can watch videos and get coins this way, you know, in a slower fashion, or do an offer wall, right? Download a game and you get a ton of coins immediately. So it's pretty easy to replenish your coins without spending a dime, you know, if you don't want to, you know, or you can just buy them, you know, for the people that want to. Oh, crud. Oh, that's not right. I didn't even notice that before. And select a match. Buy coins button doesn't work. How did I miss that one before? That's crazy. I guess it just never clicked on it before. It's cool having almost an arcade type system with the game. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, this is what should pop up. But I never even caught that one before. All of these, I think, all work correctly. Yeah. Now I'm paranoid, so I'm going to go through these guys and double check them. Yes. Yes. Ooh, hate when UI breaks and you don't know it. Better now than before it actually gets out to the public. And yeah, the dollar signs, you can ignore that because I'm running on the editor, which is why there's no values displayed there. So this updates dynamically, and this is kind of cool. I hadn't thought about this before, but this value changes based on your currency, right? So the dollar sign isn't hard coded. So if you have, you know, euros or just, you know, whatever kind of currency, this will update and it shows you the price in your currency. Does your UI use lists, or is it manually placed? Well, like this is generated dynamically on the fly. Some of the stuff is just me positioning the stuff in the beginning. For the UI, I'm using NGUI, by the way, not UGUI. So that it manually updates. How'd you do that? Well, as I said, I'm using NGUI, and NGUI has a feature that allows you to add components on the fly. For example, a great one is like the leaderboard, which I can show. Let me bring that up. And I might have to wind down because at this point well, let's see, it's 10:16, so it's not that late. But I do have to get up and do some more freelance animation work tomorrow, so I can't stay up too late. But let me bring him up. So here you go. So we have a leaderboard, right? And which by default is empty and gets filled up dynamically. So depending on what software you're using, right? Depending on how you're doing your GUI. As I said, I'm using NGUI. You know, I've been using it for years, which is why I stick with it. But Unity, of course, has UGUI these days, and you can use that. And the principle is still the same. But the long and the short of it is, if I can actually find where I'm going here. No, it's not main menu content. It's show. There it goes. This is what I was looking for. This leaderboard, sprite, where's it hiding? Menu controller, top cash winners. Yeah, here it is. So, so the way I do it is, in this case, I have 10 pre-made cells that are sitting here, that are just ready to go. And it's 1:15 here. You're in the future. Wow. So in this case, what I do is, because I know I'll always have, like, you know, no more than 10 you know, leaderboard items displayed at any given time. So I pre-make this, and then what I do is I go to my server and I fetch the values, and I just turn on the ones I need, right? So if there's literally only one person in the leaderboard, only that first one would pop up. I got dedication. You are truly, yes, yeah, you're dedicated to something. Yeah, so that if you're staying up that late, that means you're just banging away and getting all kinds of stuff done, right? Yeah, you're not distracted, right? So yeah, so and then it's just a matter of, and I do this because I know there's these 10 items, but you could also do it where there's literally nothing here, right? Where I do not have these pre-made items sitting there, and you can do it as a prefab, right? So you have a prefab that sits on the side here, and then the menu goes and it fetches an array of all the values that you need, right? And then it looks at the number of items in that array, and then it grabs the prefab version of one of these guys, right? Which I think I was doing that initially, right? These individual records, these records were prefabs that sat over here, and I was just pulling them out one by one. But then I realized that that was kind of overkill, because then I had to put them in the proper position, space them out, and all that kind of stuff. And in this case, I was able to just turn them into these 10 slots and just grab the data and put them in place. Oh yes, I'm not just completely watching the stream right now. Definitely wouldn't stop that, stoop that low. Wait, so you only give me half your attention? Now I'm really hurt. I'm just playing. So that's it. You can either do it that way. Hey, check him out, Jippo's. So Jippo is here. How's it going, man? Been a while. Unfortunately, kind of wrapping things up here, but it's good to see you again, man. So, you know, so if you want to do something that is going to be like completely unique, like different buttons and that kind of stuff, then you would just have a collection of prefab elements, right? And then once you have an array of values loaded up, however you're doing it, however it's generated, either randomly or, you know, through the player selection or off of a server, then you, hey, got here just in time. Yeah, welcome. Hey, how's it going? Look at that. I got a nice little collection going here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I was bugging your stream earlier today, wasn't I? How's it going? Just checking to see how you're doing. Seems like you're building a decent viewer base. Yeah, things are going well. Things are going well. The nighttime is unusual for me these days. Doing great. Doing great. Yeah, great stream, by the way. I was watching you for quite a while today. While I was still, of course, I was still working. I was animating, which is why, like I said, I picked up some animation freelance work. So I only did an hour lunchtime broadcast. And normally my broadcasts are 1 p.m. Pacific time. But because I had such a shortened one, I decided to come back tonight and actually do some extra time as well to hang out with you guys. But, yeah, so normally the nighttime things are kind of unusual. But, I don't know, depending on how it goes and if you guys are interested. And I won't set a schedule for nighttime, but if I'm still plugging away, I may just come back online, sneak online quietly, and do a couple extra hours. Why not, right? If you guys want to hang with me, why not? Yeah, you're welcome. That was definitely a good stream. And by the way, the game's looking really good too. I mean, you were talking about that you're just coming out of university and you know, just getting started. I was listening to you. You're talking about how you're like A-star, and you're saying that like maybe in third year you get some of that. You're kind of going, what? No. So I understand the frustration of when like you're so far ahead of everyone else and you're like having to like, you know, cool your jets. Fortunately, I'm old enough that I was in school before any of those classes were taught. So for me, I just kind of winged it, you know. Hey, I got to follow. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks. I'd say I'll follow you too, but I think I've already got you followed. So that's why I was watching your stream earlier. But, oh yeah, Blow the Stones asking if you got some food there. Yeah, so let's see. If I remember correctly, you're on the east coast of Canada, up there in the Great White North, and I'm here in Sin City. I'm in Las Vegas, so we're in opposite sides. You got some food, good. I'm not in school at all for game dev. All self-taught coding gets frustrating at times. Oh, I totally agree. The good news though is the fact that so I started on Unity 10 years ago, right? So when you Googled anything, right, when you got stuck, chances are very slim that you're going to find any good answers. The beauty of the fact that we're a decade later is there's very few things that you can ask when you hit a roadblock in Unity, which you do. I mean, I hit roadblocks all the time, and I instantly go to Google, right? And at this point, I feel very comfortable that I'm going to find an answer, right? Sometimes the answers are wrong, and that'll drive me nuts, right? When someone will say, you can't do that, and then you come in 2 minutes later, 2 links later, and you find the proper way to do it, and it's like, yeah, you can. The other guy just had no clue what he's talking about. But generally, you can actually find some very usable code. So, I've been using Unity for probably 5 years. Oh, cool. Okay. There you go. Maybe 6. Maybe 6. That's cool. Well, yeah, because you're showing your clay stuff from a while back. So, that's awesome, man. But to me, that's one of the great perks of playing with the game engine today, is that there's hopefully fewer roadblocks, right? That anything you get stuck on, you can usually find some way that someone else has faced the same issue and has been able to figure out how to get past it. So I like that. To me, that's it's saved my butt so many times. All right. So let me make sure that I don't, let's see, leaderboard group. Yeah, and I got to turn this guy off. I got to make sure I turn everything off correctly, otherwise I'll break it. I haven't even been on the earth for 5 years. Oh, don't even start. Mister, I have 3 kids by 5 different women. I've been recommending it a lot recently to people and putting a lot of emphasis on how great the support and tutorials and stuff are. Yeah, totally agree. Or at least I behave that way. Yeah, you own that one, that's for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Now, I will actually, I'm a little more agnostic. I mean, I will tell people, because both Unity and Unreal are totally free. And what I'll normally tell people, especially if they're not a coder, right, and that they're interested but don't know how to tackle it, I will say you definitely give Unreal a look, because Blueprint is built in, right? And if you want to do a game in Unity with no code, then you're going to have to buy Playmaker, or you're going to have to wait a year and a half from now until Unity finally has their scripting editor tool plugged in, and give people that option. So that is one area where Unreal definitely has a leg up on Unity in my book, unfortunately. And I know that it's coming. I know that Unity is adding that, but it's still not there yet. But and because both are free too to try out and to develop for, I tell them it's like all you're doing is wasting hard drive space. So there's no reason not to play with both and find out which one you feel more comfortable with, because they're doing the same thing, but they approach it differently, right? As we know, right? But at this point for me, I'm 10 years in. I'm 10 years in on Unity, so I'm stuck. And know the reason that I know C# well enough that I can, we were talking about that today too, because I was the one that mentioned in your stream, I was talking about that my first 3 games, 3 or 4 games were done in Unity script, right? And then that got nuked. So I literally cannot load my first 3 games in the new version of Unity, because it'll look at the script and just kind of go, I don't know what this is, So I've migrated to C#, and that was a painful experience because I'm mostly artist. And so the idea of trying to go back and learn C++ on the Unreal side, no. I'm just too old and too stubborn. Not going to happen. If you're on the game development section of Twitch, you're already on the right track. Oh, that's true. Yep. Tight community. Absolutely. To be honest, I don't know that I'd promote visual scripting. It's still effectively programming. It's just a bigger mess. Well, here's why. Here's my thought. It's as I said, I was starting in Unity script, right? But now I'm using C#. And what happened was, as you guys remember, if you played with Unity script, if you cross the streams, right, to use a Ghostbusters term, if you cross the streams with Unity script and C#, remember that they never executed on the same pass, right? So you had to come up with all these workarounds to send information. You could send it one way. I think you could go from what was it, Unity script to C#, but not the other direction, or maybe it was backwards, but it was only a one-way traversal, right? And I was always relying on plugins, and I still rely on plugins a ton today, but the catch with the plugins is that they were always C#, right? And I was trying to plug in these plugins and interact with Unity script. And, you know, fast forward 4 years later of doing this, and in that process through osmosis, I learned enough of C# without trying, without studying it, that I was able to leave UniScript behind and shift over to C#, literally months before they officially announced that they were sunsetting it, right? And the point there is, I look at visual scripting as a toe in the water. So what will happen is that you will do a good chunk of stuff, right, with visual scripting, and you'll get part of the way down into getting something going, but then you'll hit a barrier, right? There'll be something that you want to do and you cannot accomplish it with the visual scripting, at which point then you're going to have to make your first script, right? You're going to going, well, I just want to do this one thing, and then you go looking for code, and once you've done that, boom, you know, camel's nose under the tent. Once you've done your first script and you demystify some of that stuff, then you're going to get more comfortable, right? So I agree that, you know, the idea of only doing visual scripting and making finished products with that, only that, I think is definitely not a viable concept. But using visual scripting as, for lack of a better term, a gateway drug into true coding, I think is a solid approach, right? So, you know, if you're going to tell someone that they have to load up a game engine and they've never done coding before and they have to start with coding, that's going to throw them off. If you just say you have to make these little flow charts, right, and then when you're comfortable, start throwing in a little bit of coding, then you have some potential of letting them migrate over time. That was super comfortable for me and really important for me getting into Unity. Yeah? There you go, yeah. And by the way, the game's looking great too. You know, even though you're limited, what'd you say, 5-color palette? So that's definitely making a bigger challenge for you. But yeah, I was totally digging the pixel art that you got going there, you know, and the theme, the red theme. You were mentioning the fact you liked the purple better, but it was too dark, which I totally understand that as well. So, yeah, so that's my viewpoint. Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, and I mean, you don't know me well enough, but if you know, over time you'll see me that if I offer opinion, it's gonna be honest. You know, I'll be polite sometimes. It's kind of like, that's, yeah, you know, that video game, it's it's running. You know, so I'm not a good BSer, you know, so I speak pretty much how I feel. Hey, Kingman. Wow, I'm getting rated with a party of 5. Welcome, guys. Look at this. All right, so now I can't go. I was gonna, like, you know, wind down and go to bed, but you guys aren't gonna let me, are you? How's it going? Welcome, guys. How's it going? How's it going? All right. So since we have some new faces that are drifting in, welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome. I will give a quick rundown. Your fans are here. Yeah. Welcome. This happens too often. 24-hour stream. It's kind of starting to feel like it, you know? Yeah, because I normally do a daytime stream. No. Although I'm going to try and do that for the Game Jam. I don't know about you guys, but I am going to do the Game Jam, which is what, you know, beginning next week. So I am going to try and stream that as much as possible. I'm going to be doing that from here in Las Vegas. It's being held at the UNLV. 48 hours to stream. Yeah. Except for when I'm sleeping, you know. You may, like, I have to do some that, yeah. Are you going to do that? Talk to me. Any of you other guys going to be doing the Game Jam here pretty soon? It's going to be my first global Game Jam. I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's, I don't know if I'm totally right on this. It may actually be the first time it's been held here in Las Vegas. But, oh, I don't know if you're asking me or Sochi. I'm not sure. I'm watching the streams do the Game Jam. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. You know, I'm getting kind of long in the tooth, man. I'm getting up there in age, so I may be crashing frequently. I don't know if my stream will crash or I'll crash or both. Probably not for me, but I'd love to watch people doing it. All right. Well, I'm going to try and do that. So, in the meantime, also let me give you guys a quick rundown. For you guys that just traveled in here, thank you for joining, by the way. Yes, press play. Enough talk. Shut up. Show the game. Volley Village. Imagine Angry Birds meets Battleship, right? It's going to be starting off Android, iOS initially. It's going to be online cross-platform multiplayer, so it doesn't matter. You look pretty healthy. I think you can make it. I hide it really well. All right. So Angry Birds, right? You target by dragging your finger back, kind of like Angry Birds, right? And when you're ready to fire, you fire. And what you're doing is you're aiming for the bouncing buildings. And you see, first off, it's not turn-based. You actually see it's real-time, right? And what you're doing is the bouncing buildings actually reinforce the force field. So you're trying to knock out the buildings before your opponent does. Oh, shoot. And these power-ups come up. The green arrow, which I'm going to miss completely. Look at that. The green arrow. Oh, come on. I cannot miss twice in a row. That's embarrassing. There it is. So now I have a power for 15 seconds that makes my villagers go twice as fast. So the beauty of it is now I have almost like the borderline rapid fire. You can see how fast I'm reloading, right? And it gives me a nice little advantage. Yeah, it's real-time player versus player. I'm playing a bot right now. I'm just playing the AI, but you can go online. And cross-platform. Doesn't matter if you're iOS, Android, PC, or Mac. It'll be totally cross-platform. And you see the villagers sent out, the AI sent out some villagers to repair buildings. You could do that, but now he only has 2 guys on his loader. So now his reload times are twice as slow as me, right? And I can be a jerk and just kind of mess with him. So I can, like, you know, reset his work here. Like so. There you go. And then the other secondary items you see here, like the corn, the hay, and the wheat, those come into play when you play online matches. Because the more stuff you destroy, the more... Oh, this is a fun one. The more coins you win, right? So you hit this one. Check this out. Boom. They're snoozing now. They're out for 15 seconds. So now at this point, he's just stuck watching me, right? Or I'm just like completely wiping out all his stuff, right? So if you play like a match for like 100 coins, if you only take out the buildings and you win, you're only going to get your 100 coins back. You break even, right? But if you destroy everything on the island like this, then you double your coins. So you win 200. So there's an incentive to, even after you knock out all the buildings, to not finish the guy off first. You have to try and go after everything first. So there you go, 104%. You're never going to let me live that down, are you? All right, I had one minor quirk, and that's fixed. That's too funny. So, you should record an explanation video for the newcomers. Check the link. No, I don't mind it. I mean, it gets repetitious, I'm sure, for some of the people that have been here before. But, you know, I don't mind doing the rundown there. Twitter is hilarious. All right. So, and then I say it's Angry Birds meets Battleship. And I say that because you can actually customize the layout. You can put the buildings wherever you want, right? I'm doing randomized, but you can do it one by one. You can drop everything in place just like this, right? And once all the buildings are in place, you hit save. Let me do a layout that looks good. I like that one. I hit save. Boom, hitting the slot, and now that's saved. Excuse me. So he's making fun of me because I had a... Oh, hey, look at the cheer. Thank you, man. Look at that. He's back again. I thought you were going to bed, buddy. All right. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, and definitely hit me up on Kombu if you... excuse me, hit me up on Discord if you want to ask me some more questions offline, too. I'm always available. So what do you... So, yeah... but not exactly Battleship because it can't be a secret building location. No, but there is one power-up. You saw 2 of them. You saw the green arrow, which makes your villagers go twice as fast. You saw the stop sign, which puts the villagers, your opponents, to sleep. But there's also a fog, right? And you hit that one, and your buildings are covered in fog for 15 seconds. Now, at that point, it really is just like Battleship, you know, because now you're completely hidden. But, so yeah, Below the Stone is pointing out the fact that I had a math error where the game's played number wasn't updating. Oh, Hidden Nano, thanks for the follow, man. Thank you so much. Awesome, thanks, man. So the game's played. If you lost, this value wouldn't increment, right? So what ended up happening was I had a situation where my games won was like 80, and my games played was like 75, right? So then what happened was my win percentage was literally 104. So now he's never going to let me live that down. You know, the win percentage of 104, which, you know, is impressive. Completely hidden, you say, right at my alley. Okay, you know, I'll bring this back. I'll see if I can get. I don't have it. I don't have a cheat code right now, so I'm at the mercy of the computer giving me a fog bank power up. So we'll see. Hopefully one of those will pop. Nope, I got the stop sign again. Worst case, I can switch to the 2-player and wait for that to come up. So, hey, Paper Fan Games gave a follow. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thanks, man. A slight miscalculation that will never be forgotten. Yeah, that's gonna be my new nickname. It's like, you know, hey, it's 104. I have the T codes. Yeah, you do, don't you? Oh crap! The stop sign again. All right, I'll just keep decimating him until I get the power up I want. So I'm just gonna like torture the AI. It's 104. Yes, call me 104%. Yes. Yes, we don't want 100%. We want 104% performance. PogChamp. Oh, come on. Stop with the stops. Give me a cloud bank. Come on, guys. I'm serious. This is just killing me. I'll just keep destroying stuff. I'm just going to torture him. Yeah, we know you're just cheating at your own game 104%. So I'll tell you the funny story while I'm waiting for the cloud bank to pop up. So I demo the games at comic conventions. So that's how I you know, this game at this point is 3 years old. A year and a half worth of development stretched over the last 3 years. And I take it to comic conventions to test it out. And there was a pair of brothers, again with the stop sign. I swear it's randomized. Welcome to WDRU 104.1, The Miscalculation. Playing the top -8 songs. Coming to you 48 hours an hour. Yeah, a year and a half. Most of that has been devoted to the online stuff. I have not done an online game before. So a lot of that, oh, again with this, come on. It just does not want to give me a cloud power up, despite me. So yeah, it's the multiplayer stuff that's really rocked my world. That's the first time I've tried to tackle that, and it's been a challenge. So there was, so these two brothers were playing, and the older brother, you just know that he always just tortures the younger brother, right? So we get in a situation where the younger brother has destroyed the entire island. Oh, there we go. Here's the power up. I'll let the computer score it so you can see what it looks like from his point of view. And so the younger kid was able to finish off the older brother. He could just hit him anytime he wanted to. You see the launcher's exposed, right? And the mom is watching. The mom's like, honey, and all the younger brother's doing is he's just picking on his older brother like this. You know, every time he tries to rebuild a building, he just zaps him, right? And he just does this for like a minute, just relentlessly. And the mom's like, honey, you can actually go after the launcher now, right? And the little brother, without missing a beat, he goes, yeah, I know. You know, but he doesn't want the game to end. He's having just too much fun just torturing his older brother. Like, this is the first time he's ever been able to just completely own his older brother. So he's just doing that. And he finally, after like a couple of minutes, he just goes like this and finishes him off. So anyways, there was the cloud bank, by the way, you know. So that's, yeah, you can actually see the demonstration of the cloud bank. This younger brother and older brother story sounds like me and the older brother. I had to literally turn away. I was laughing so hard, you know. So, and then of course, depending on which launcher you choose, you get these cute little animations as well, right? And each one of these characters has their own unique animations. And it doesn't really change the performance. This is much more of a cosmetic change than a performance change. So this is not a pay-to-win game at all. Is this using 3D OpenGL or like a 2.5D effect with the water on the island? I'll show you that. I am in Unity land, of course. But let me take this out of full screen and I'll fire this up here. I really like the jumping wind animation. Thanks. Alright, fire up a 2-player game. So it's... Oh, whoa, I broke something here. What did I break? Uh-oh. That's different. Did I break something? Or was that just a quirk? Let's see, let me bring this up again. Wow. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So, just to give you an idea, I went And if you want to play local 2-player game, you can have 2 people playing at the same time. So this was what was happening at the convention, was people playing side by side. And I had it set up with a touchscreen, which is great because people were actually playing on the same screen. And invariably, if someone was falling behind, they'd just start physically pushing the other person out of the way to try and catch up. But I did the 2-player, so that way it wouldn't take off on me. But here, you can see it's a mix, right? That looks nice. Thank you. Thanks, man. I really like the jump. Oh, wait, let's see. Unity Land was not my favorite theme park. You had to build your own rides. That's funny. Gonna jump off actually right now. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Oh, you're not gonna go be productive, are you? Oh, I'm gonna have to come haunt you, man. Thanks for hanging out, dude. I really appreciate it. Good to see you again, man. Yep. Good night, man. So the general rule of thumb is anything that has any kind of rotation to it, like the characters and the sharks, right, and the launchers, those are going to be 3D characters, right? But all the other ones I can get away with, right, like the buildings, I went with 2D. So because I was aiming for mobile, right? So anytime I could have what looks like a lot of detail, right, but not, I mean, if I built these as 3D objects, the amount of polygons that I have to do for each one of these buildings would be pretty intense. One of the coolest games on Twitch TV, just under mine. Of course, yes. I mean, mine. You're stuck. You only have the islands. Below the stone, you can move around and go wherever you want. So he automatically wins. Hope that one made you laugh because that's an obvious joke. My game being good. No, dude. But you guys are still like. Well, number one, you guys are still early on. Number two, you guys are still in school, right? I'm the old man. So, but no, I mean, and you guys are already doing some great stuff. I throw enough praise at you guys already. I say a third then. So yeah, to answer your question, anything that I can get away with is anything that doesn't rotate, I automatically drop to a 2D sprite, and then the motion is just a tween, right? That just does a squash and stretch on the buildings. Right, and each one of those is just doing their own thing in terms of timing, so you get that nice little bouncing effect, right? And so that way, I still got some pretty strong numbers. Let's see, let me come out of this and show stats. Turn that off here. So, yeah, so 40,000 tries. I mean, that's still pretty beefy on mobile, and I mean, I could still do some optimizations, and oh wow, so 107 on my set pass calls, which is still pretty heavy. But in terms of skin meshes, there's only 22, so there's trade-offs. It's heavy in some areas but lighter in others. A great way to cut CPU cycles while keeping it looking professional. Yeah, that's it. And well, and here's the thing too. Also, one of the key things that does it is the water effect. I love this. This is part of the toon shader I'm using that has this beautiful water look to it, right? I love this. So you got depth, right? You can see the edges of the island, right? And then the foam that breaks off of it. But the catch, though, is that it's depth check. And it does a depth check all the way through the level. And as a result, it just crushes the frame rate on some of the older Android devices. So if we look back in here, right? So we have set pass calls is 107, right? So I added this in the options. If it's playing sluggish on your device, you can go into your options here and switch from quality to performance. Now if we look, you can see the water is no longer transparent, the foam is gone, and the depth is gone. But if we come back in here and we look, set pass calls are still the same. It didn't drop it that much. But take my word for it. On older Android devices, like there was a Nexus that my parents have, and it was running like 10 frames a second. And when you turn off the water, it jumps up to 40, right? Is this Mortal Engines the game? Well, yes, and they ripped me off because I've been working on my game for 3 years now, so they owe me. That's funny. I didn't even thought about that too. I haven't seen the movie. I've seen the trailer. But yeah, I guess there is that kind of motif to it, isn't it? Yeah, I see that. Sometimes you need the actual phone hardware for testing. The blend is probably what kills the frame rate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, it's just because it has this depth check, right? That it's on it. But you know, if the device can handle it, then you definitely want to have that effect on, because it really is pretty. But on older devices, it definitely just crashes it. It just craters the frame rate. What are you doing for version control? Oh, here's a painful one. Honestly, not much. I am a one-person team. I am working by myself. So I don't have... Honestly, I'm not using GitHub. I'm not using anything in terms of cloud-based. What I do is I have a NAS drive, a 4 hard drive NAS drive, and then I have a USB that's plugged into the NAS drive, and the USB backs up the NAS drive every night at 9 o'clock. So I work locally, just so the same as me. So I have local versions, and then so what I do is I look at my documents. So here's my versions, right? You know, and I do backup. This is terrible. Backup 1, 2, 3. So the most recent backup is the largest number, right? Zip and zip. Yeah, kind of. And then what I do is I just drag them over onto the NAS drive. And then I know that way, so I have it locally on this computer, and then I have it on the NAS drive, and then I have it on the USB that backs that up. So, big yikes from me. I know. But, you know, yeah, I should do it better. How many older versions do you keep? After 4 or 5 months, I finally set up a Git repo. I know I should. To be honest, just on my machine, I keep like 4 iterations, right? But on my NAS drive, it goes back at this point a couple of years. So I mean, I literally have at least 20 iterations going back that far. I mean, it's better than no version control at all. So at least you're not using SVN. Am I right? Yeah. Excuse me. They called me the machine in high school. Called me for backup. So let's see. Yeah. So here's my NAS drive. So yeah, if we look at this, let's see. Yeah, so I mean, like, my earlier versions go all the way back to 2015. So, you know, I have earlier builds of the game that are, you know, what, at this point, 3.5 years old. So, there you go. We can't be friends anymore. My girlfriend's been meaning to teach me Git stuff for a month now, and that might not happen anytime soon. Yeah. I know I should. It's one of those things that I always plan to do once I brought on other people to work on the game, but I don't know. I've worked on projects where I have done GitHub stuff, especially, I think I mentioned before, I am an animator. I've been doing animation for 20 years. So I've worked on freelance projects where I've done GitHub on other people's projects, right? You know, and various things like that. But just my methodology, I know it's wrong, but you know, I don't do anything right. You know, I just kind of wing it. Pretty standard. Most people won't be friends with me because I use UES. Now you know Git. There you go. Look at this. They're enemies. They're friends. They're enemies. They're friends. Man, this is like soap opera stuff. This is good. Yeah, the chat is more interesting than the game. That's a bad sign. I keep local saves too. There you go. Oh man, I just switched to Git. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess part of it is also the paranoia, and you guys can laugh at this, but the paranoia of putting stuff... you are a beast. Love what you're doing. Thanks. Well, but I still do it too, and that's... make you remind. So no, I'm doing that right now because traditionally my streams are 1 p.m. For me, yeah, it's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I'm I'm doing animation for a TV show, which unfortunately has to remain unnamed at this point. Once the TV show comes out, I'll tell you what it is. But yeah, so I worked on it a month and a half ago back in LA, and then I came back home and they let me work on some more here. So now that's why I'm kind of doing the nighttime broadcast, because I'm doing the animation work during the day, and I had to do a very concise 1 hour short broadcast because 1 p.m. is when I've been doing my schedule. So I did a 1 hour quick broadcast, but I came back on tonight to do a couple hours. But yeah, so I've been doing animation for 20 years for TV shows, movies, a couple of video games. So I can lay claim to the fact that I animated Master Chief in Halo 3, and I animated Transformers and the War for Cybertron Transformers video game. So those are the only 2 video games I worked on that aren't my own. But most of the stuff I've worked on over the years has just been TV shows. Let's see. Do you do the modeling and art as well? Whoa, what? What'd I say? Masterful animation. I won't ask what TV show, but could you say if there's a chance that I know the show? Yeah, yeah. It's a pretty famous show. It's a pretty famous show. But, no, I mean, if you want to ask about the other stuff I worked on over the last 20 years, I can tell you about that. Okay, I'll tell you this. Dora the Explorer. Oh man, crap! You guessed it. You do modeling. Why only face cam? What? You do modeling? Why only face cam? Wait, you talking about 3D modeling or like runway modeling? Okay, now that's getting weird. No. Okay. So funny story. So my company name is Scary Robot, right? Because of the Twitch rules. But there's a lot of branches in my own stuff. I do GitFlow. So the name of my company is Scary Robot. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I can just do it this way. I can unremark what I remarked out here. Let's see. Where is this? I've totally lost it. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here. Okay. There he goes. So this is the quickest way to show this. So I set up a news system so I can do like news updates that'll pop up, and I have a placeholder which is my company logo, which is Scary Robot. And I'll give you the context of that story. So my company is called Scary Robot. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Yeah. So this is the old company logo, Scary Robot. I call the company Scary Robot because for so many years, all I ever seemed to animate was Scary Robots. So if you go way back in time, for some of you guys, this is going to be like too old. So your parents probably like this stuff. If you just do everything perfectly, there's no need for branches. Well, that's not me. So going back, way back in time, I animated the Cylons in the first season of Battlestar Galactica, as well as one of the episodes from Season 2. If you like that show, if you ever see the episode, spoiler alert, but then the show's over a decade old, so if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. In Season 2, there's an episode where the Cylons sneak on to the Battlestar Galactica and just wreak havoc. That was mine. I animated all those Cylons. So I did that. I animated the Terminator in Sarah Connor Chronicles, the TV series. I animated the mechs in Falling Skies, and it became this running joke, right? You know, and someone asked me, it's like, do you ever animate anything besides Scary Robots? And boom, there you go. So my company's called Scary Robot for that reason. So there's the context. But, so yeah, so that's also why this game has taken 3 years to make, you know, because of the fact that, when Hollywood calls and they say, hey, do you want to come work on something for a while? I go back to LA, or if I'm lucky, I get to work from home and work on it, and that delays the game. So a year and a half ago, for example, typecasting for animators. Yeah, kind of. But yeah, here you go. Here's another one. Anyone recognize this guy? There you go. If you can see that, that's a crew shirt from when I was in Burbank a year and a half ago when I was working on Season 3. Yeah, I worked on Season 3 of Flash, the second half. So if you like Flash, yeah, it's kind of cool, isn't it? So that's a company T-shirt there. That's a crew shirt from working on the VFX. So if you liked the second half of season 3 of Flash on Netflix, yeah, I think Flash is on Netflix now. Yeah, it is, isn't it? All the stuff in like Gorilla City. That was when I came to town and worked on that for a while. You just lift up your shirt and flashed us. Yeah, but I did it in a flash, so it's okay. That's also against the Twitch rules. Yeah, but it was, it was in flash speed. So yeah, so there you go. There was no robots in that one. So I worked on, well, no, actually I guess there kind of was, because I worked on Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow, and Adam was kind of like a robot, right? He has the mech suit, so that kind of counts as robot stuff as well, I guess. You have been a part of several different parts of my life throughout your work, and here I am on your stream. Well, yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I still love doing it, and I have this perfect setup now, right? I still get the occasional animation job. Flash is a robot. No way a human could be that fast. Yeah, let's see what else. So other ones too. I worked on a few episodes of Fringe. I worked on the very first episode of Fringe, where the partner becomes like translucent. So I had to like model the character, animate him so he lined up in position. And then the episode LSD, where they go in her mind, and it's all like Toon World. I got to animate a cartoon version of Spock, Leonard Nimoy, in that episode. That was so cool. Yeah, Fringe. Let's see, the Doomsday Device. I animated a couple episodes. Oh geez, I mean, this is 20 years, man. So I mean, half the shows I forget about over time. V. I worked on V a few times. When she like had the tail, when her tail would like whip out and like tag people. Let's see. Couple times in CSI. Let's see, No Ordinary Family. That was a short-lived one. It's kind of like live action Incredibles. Yeah, and let's see. Oh, I got to smush Joseph Gordon-Levitt on Premium Rush, the movie, where he's like riding the bicycle. And if you ever saw the movie, it's pretty good. It's actually kind of a fun movie. And he has like this like Jedi ability to look at an intersection on his bike and figure out which way to go. And if he goes the wrong way, he can visualize himself getting smushed by cars. So that was me. I got to animate Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting ping-ponged by a bunch of vehicles. So, yeah. So, sorry. I guess the whole point was that, that's why my games take so long to make, because, when I get animation work, I go back to work on that. So that's been me. That's my gig. So, and I moved to Vegas just to live cheap, but I still go back to LA occasionally, or if I'm lucky, like tomorrow, the job I'm doing right now, which I promise I'll tell you about it once it comes out. I'll fill you in. I'm going to bed now. Thanks for your works. Thanks for coming, man. I should wind down here because I'm actually past my bedtime. Valley Village looks really cool. Thanks, man. Thank you so much for the kind words, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, and then, yeah, thanks for coming in. I should wind down. It is after 11 o'clock my time, and I do have to get up early in the morning and go back to work on the TV show, which I promise, once it comes out. Well, thanks. I'm toying with the idea of splitting and doing like the day broadcast and night, but I will always be doing the day broadcast. But also, if you guys didn't notice, please feel free to join me on Discord. In case you didn't see the link down there, I'll toss this out before you guys go away, and I'm gonna wind down myself here. But there's that, and then also, if you'd like to try out the game, it's in beta. So if you want to, here are all the links for that. It's down below, but in case you didn't notice, here's the Android version, as well as the iOS version, and even a PC version that you guys can give a try. Play it yourself and let me know if you find any issues, because I'm getting close to getting this out the door. Except if I get more animation work. But hopefully I can get the game done. But yeah, and there, I also post the Discord, so I'm always on there. So if you guys want to shout at me, just say anything, you can always reach me there. Sweet, that's super cool. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. and thanks for coming, man. Thanks for you know, I know when you go on a raid sometimes you kind of look and bail, but you guys hung out with me, and I do appreciate that. That's very cool. I can't think of anything else I was gonna cover. Most of the stuff I want to deal with now is gonna be kind of drawn out. Thanks for all the work you've done in animation. Thanks. Hope you see your stream again real soon. Thanks, man. I hope you can make it. I hope you can. I hope you can join me again. But yeah, like I said, if you have any other questions, give me a shout on Discord. I will be back on Friday for sure at 1 p.m. It may be another truncated one. It depends on how much animation on the freelance job I get done. But if not, I'll probably do the 1 hour, and then maybe Friday night do another nighttime broadcast as well. So hopefully if you guys are more of the night owls, or wherever you are on the earth, I know this is like a whole, there's no time zone, it's all kind of funky, wherever you guys are in the world, maybe you can join me again if I do the nighttime broadcast as well. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. It makes it so much more fun for me. I mean, I'm just plugging away in the room here, so, you know, having a conversation with you guys is awesome. But yeah, I think that's it, unless there's anything else I could think to cover. I don't think I threw out I plugged all my links there, so you can try that out there. But, yeah, hey, and thanks for coming by. And I'll definitely be bugging you as well. I'll follow you on your stream as well and see how you do with your progress. But, yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm starting to fade now anyways. I'm, you know, I'm getting tired. But, yeah, thanks again for hanging out. Hope you guys can make it Friday. If not, the streams are available, and I have the YouTube as well. Oh, YouTube. I forgot about that, too. So, if you ever want to check out some of the older ones, there's the YouTube as well. Scary Robot Games. There's a theme there. But, yeah, thanks again, guys. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys can make it again sometime in the future. If not, best luck to all you guys and all the stuff that you're working on. But that's going to do it for me. I'm going to pack it in at this point. So take care, guys, and I will hopefully see you soon. All right? Adios.